Welcome everyone, it's that time again, where the world is in love and we're telling our friends. It's Valentine's Day, so you know what that means. The Cage Crew is back with the podcast of your dreams. But before we jump into this week's episode, here are a few things that you should know. Girl hot. Girlfriend hot. I don't know many of these.
Oh God, I can't breathe.
If you were a lollipop, I would consume you and gain cavities. If you were a dog, I'd pet the shit out of your belly.
Can you stop? I can't breathe.
Okay.
Oh God damn it.
Catch your breath, sweetie.
I love you, you asshole.
While we know this anime is rather old, there are spoilers ahead, so you're not left in the cold. There may be strong language, not sure if you care, but just in case that offends you, you'd better beware.
I like to give her multiple takes, so can we do it just one more time? I'll get you ice cream, I promise. Jennifer is trying to bite my face off. You better keep that in the final recording.
Finally, everyone's opinions are their own. It's not the whole podcast, so we'll make that known.
What did I do? I shouldn't be laughing because you're being really cute.
Are we at the flirty part now?
I think we're at the part where you flirt.
I don't know how to do this. I'm awkward.
It's okay, I believe in you. You can do it, my cuteness.
I'm awkward.
Alright, lovers, the show must go on, so please enjoy the dub talk for Yona of the Dawn. Hey Gigi.
What?
Good luck with the show today, honey.
You're ridiculous.
You're unridiculous.
That sounded so evil.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to Dub Talk, the podcast where a group of love-stricken dragons get together and discuss the latest and greatest in English dubs. I am Princess Stephanie, and tonight I am joined by the Dragon Warriors, the White Dragon Gigi.
Rar means I love you in dinosaur.
God damn it. Get your Hot Topic bullshit out of here.
We have the Green Dragon Warrior, Megan.
Hey Gigi, is your favorite album the sixth one by Whitesnake?
Slide it in.
And we also have the Blue Dragon Warrior, Noah Clue. You're not even gonna say anything after that?
By the way,
No, because it makes sense. If you've seen the show, the blue dragon doesn't speak.
You right?
Actually,
You
where are
right.
my bells? I got bells
the
here.
Yellow
somewhere.
Dragon Warrior will
Here we
not
go.
be appearing until the very end of this episode.
Damn it. Whoops.
I wonder what we're talking about tonight, guys!
Who let him out of the cage?
Oh Lord. Together, the four of us will be braving the harsh landscape that is Valentine's Day.
Oh no!
Dun, dun, dun.
No!
Now with 100% less people who are lonely and single on this episode.
Yay!
Jesus,
Holy shit, what
hallelujah.
happened? Holy
What the fuck
shit.
happened?
1 year ago.
1 year ago, only one person was in a relationship in this
He was in a relationship
here.
so hard he had a physical manifestation around his finger. You see, we had this idea. It was called the Avengers Initiative. The Date Vengers Initiative.
Date Avengers Initiative. So, in this initiative, the plan was to bring together a team of dragon warriors and to
Who
get
are
them in a
really
relationship.
horny.
Get,
really.
You see, dragons are an endangered species, and we really need to get this breeding program started.
Jesus Christ.
It's time for the dragon-based sequel to Darling in the Franxx. Face down, ass up. That's the way we like to fuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, the four horn dragons Give him a round of applause.
What the hell?
We're off to a great start, boys and girls.
I mean, this isn't even that bad a show.
This is the least thirstiest I've ever been.
Look on the bright side. At least this time when someone gets locked in a cage, they actually remember that's an awful thing to do to somebody.
What are you saying about my Saturday nights?
Gigi, I was drinking hot cocoa, holy shit.
Anyway, in this desolate wasteland of chocolate cards and mushy stuff, it's time to face off in our annual Valentine's Day episode. And if you're wondering why Gigi isn't hosting it like she has in the past,
I got outvoted.
Well, it's because, one, we couldn't find anything trashy enough.
No,
and I refuse to watch Peach Girl.
And
I refuse to watch Peach Girl and or Suzuka.
And two, no way in hell was I going to let anyone host tonight's episode.
An episode 5 years in the making. Also be holy shit, this show is 5 years old.
Yeah, it is 5 years old, actually. Tonight we're going to be revisiting another series that was previously covered in an early vlog episode of Dub Talk, Yona of the Dawn, the 2014 series from Perot and licensed in North America by Funimation. Now, if you haven't heard of this series before...
Don't worry, Perot doesn't remember it either.
It's Fushigi Yugi 2015.
But
Stop
good.
it!
It's Fushigi Yugi, but actually good.
I love
I
Fushigi
please-
Yugi. Don't talk
Can I
to
please
me.
read this summary?
No,
Shut your
fuck
fucking
you,
mouth.
Mom.
You
can't
could
tell me
just
what to
cut
do.
them all out in the editing process. You could just strip all of this out.
The only thing she likes to strip for is her horny dragon Andrew.
God damn it!
Thank you for the setup, Noah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I mean, our objective is to help everyone listening on Valentine's Day feel less lonely, and I think you all are doing a very good job of that with your wit and funniness. So thank you, Lilac, for letting us off the leash.
And I mean, if we're not good enough, you can always run down to your local sex shop and get the Great American Challenge.
What's that?
The biggest, Gigi.
What?
Gigi, if you ever come down to Florida, I'm taking you to something called the Todd.
Okay.
So many questions. Not enough answers.
Oh, God.
It is. Do you guys all want to know what the Todd is?
Yeah.
It's
Give us like the Cliff Notes version, please.
TLDR. It's where you go to get your slut supplies.
Okay.
It's a sex stop.
Nice.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
I mean, we didn't get to drag Noah into the one in Dallas either. So.
Don't worry, this one
I'm
isn't
so
furry
hard.
friendly. This one's unfortunately this one is we don't know if it's furry friendly.
Oh God. Anyway, can I please read this summary that is on the back of this
Sure.
set that I have in my hands? Anyway, Yona is a typical teen, easily excitable, spoiled by her adoring father, and the sitting princess of the Coca Kingdom. On her 16th birthday, she plans to tell her father, the kind King Il, about her hidden love for her childhood friend, Suwon. But before she can confess her feelings, she stumbles upon her father being brutally murdered by none other than Suwon himself for the purpose of
I
ruling
love
the kingdom-
Frozen.
with the purpose of ruling the kingdom.
Oh, Yona, if only somebody loved you.
Stop! Ruling the kingdom with a firmer hand. After the tragic discovery, Yona and her bodyguard Sonhak must flee the kingdom and escape the wrath of Suwon's henchmen. Now, in order to reunite the fallen kingdom, Yona and Sonhak are on the hunt for the 4 legendary dragons of Coca. Along the way, Yona must shed her royal air and learn to live by the sword and bow.
Did you say the bodyguard?
Bodyguard.
Thank you for doing that so I didn't have to.
We'll always love you. That is the song from the Bodyguard,
That's
right?
what the box
Yes, it
said,
is.
alright. That
Okay,
is.
good. It was either that or I want to dance with somebody, and I don't know the words,
that's
so I want to.
definitely not from the bodyguard.
Good, because I've never actually
Anyway.
seen the Bodyguard.
Oh, girl.
Anyway.
No.
Anyway.
I feel like I'm missing out on a great American tradition by not watching the Bodyguard.
Shut
No,
the
no.
fuck up.
No. Yona's got the Great American Bodyguard. He just happens to be unavailable right now.
They're Korean, dumbass.
Okay, fine. We're gonna remake the Great American Hero, and we're going to make it instead of the Great Korean Hero.
God damn it. Anyway, as always, we're going to be covering much of the cast from performances to casting and beyond. It's time to follow the Crimson Dragon King and her Dragon Warriors. Who's ready to join me?
Tonight we dine in hell.
But it has a dessert, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's if you get, like melt honey on me, that's all I want.
Oh,
God
baby.
damn it.
Gigi, where do you think Devil's Food Cake comes from?
Oh.
Anyway, we're gonna kick things off with the ADR directors, the assistant director, and our script writers. This is a very interesting situation that we have with the staffing. So, the dub of Yona of the Dawn, it actually was among one of the first of the larger expanded broadcast dub programs back in 2015. And how it was dubbed at the time, it's one of two that actually went with its second half instead of starting from the beginning.
Hilariously, both were Studio Perot shows.
Yep, the other being Tokyo Ghoul Route A.
And nothing bad ever happened about that production, ever.
I mean, in Tokyo Ghoul Route A, at least you can say there was a split between seasons. Yona was even weirder because Yona is actually a 2-core show. So it was a little weird at the time.
Yeah,
but,
like, it's really weird, too, because I don't even think the second core of Yona doesn't even start until, like, episode 14, if you're technically being correct.
Yeah,
You're
I
right.
think they started...
Yeah, because, like...
Yeah, they started on
it's
14.
It's 13 episodes for the first half, and then 11 episodes in the second half.
Yeah, it's like somebody at Perot forgot how math fucking works.
It's all good. But,
and you can tell where
anyway.
each core starts is because it's when the opening changes, and despite these three thinking the second opening's better, they're wrong, the first one is.
Incorrect. The second opening by far outshines the first.
Here's the correct
But there
answer.
is no
In terms
opening for the first half.
You know what? You can suck on your own dick, Noah.
Hey, you can suck my dragon dip from now to the end of the podcast.
But that's Jenny's job.
Whoa.
Whoa. This is gonna be one of those nights, isn't it?
I'm dragging every
Anyway.
one of your boyfriends into... oh, wait, no, I can't, because they're my friend. Damn it! I got the leverage.
See, when it comes to the art of the dunk, you can't be a Yona, you have to go full Suwon.
Yes.
When it comes to the art of the dunk, you kill someone's father.
Anyways, so to kick things off, I'm going to cover the writers first. So we got 3 writers, one more than likely is being seen as the head writer, though, for the series. That being Monica Rial, who has written scripts for series such as Birdie the Mighty Decode, Keijo, and Tokyo Ghoul. Our other 2 writers for 13 episodes, we have Emily Neves, who has written for series such as Double Decker, Hyoka, and Snow White with the Red Hair. And for 8 episodes, we have Jeremy Kratz, who has written for series such as Izetta the Last Witch, My Hero Academia, and Sir Vamp. Now, the more interesting part, I would say, in the staffing front is actually
here's where
the
shit
director.
gets really confusing.
This is where shit gets confusing, so strap yourselves in, kids. So, I'm going to, in terms of chronological order, I'm going to start with the broadcast dub release and how that was staffed. Okay? So for episodes 13 to 24, the ADR director of the show was Colleen Klinkenbeard, who has been director for series such as My Hero Academia, The Rolling Girls, and Steins Gate. The assistant ADR director at that time was Clifford Chapin, who has also been the assistant director for series such as My Hero Academia, The Rolling Girls, and Sir Vamp. And then when Funimation went back to record the first half of the show, Clifford Chapin took over as director full-time. And as a full-fledged director, he has directed other series such as Planetarian, Konohana Kitan, and Gosek. So if you're very confused, welcome to this weird amalgamation of staffing.
Don't worry, we all are.
Don't worry, we all were. But bottom line, in terms of a consistent director, Clifford Chapin is in there throughout, whether it's as the lead director or the assistant during the second half of the show.
It's like everybody shouting, I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus.
Anyway, to kick things off, let's go with Noah. What are your thoughts on the directing and writing of the show?
So, because of the fact that this wasn't a show that I had intended to watch until the Valentine's episode, I did not watch it while it was being broadcast. So I didn't watch it in dub in the reverse order, like season 2 in dub and then season 1 in dub. I watched the whole thing straight through chronologically with the dub, unaware of the dub breaks in terms of when they dubbed it. And it's pretty consistent. I give full props for a show that has a very definitive character arc for our lead character, but has lots of smaller parts that come in and out throughout the show. It's pretty consistent. All the characters are directed in a way that it doesn't feel like there's too many breaks in between the recording sessions, and everyone has a pretty consistent writing style, because this is a show that takes place in, like, I want to say medieval, but I know it's not the right term. It's an old world Korea, before electronics and anything like that has come about. So everyone has a pretty regal speaking pattern if they're royalty. They have a basic speaking pattern if they're a rural character. There's not too many what's that term that means
anachronistic?
Anachronistic phrases, thank you. None of that I didn't hear too much of in here. It's all very consistent throughout. I guess if I had nitpicks on the direction or the writing, it would simply be the way that some of the characters are cast in terms of like matching their personalities. That's going to come back into individual performances, and we'll get into that. But for one, straightforward through adventure, comedy, drama, romance, turducken, it was pretty good throughout. I think it was just as good as the Japanese in terms of being an accessible entry into this weird period romance drama. I have not seen Fushigi Yuki, so I don't know how this stacks up to that, but this is certainly good.
Can I go next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So I'll get writing out of the way first. The weird thing about Yona of the Dawn is that Yona of the Dawn, for people who don't generally know, like, what Yona of the Dawn is that, essentially, to me, Yona of the Dawn is the best show that Perot has put out in the last 5 years. Don't at me.
Don't at
Yes.
you.
Don't at me.
Well, actually, if I may make it... No.
Okay, look, Boruto Black
Don't even
Clover, shut the
start.
fuck up and go in your corner.
No,
I
mean, what's
like-
the competition?
Okay, look,
Right, what's the
we've
competition?
literally described, Andrew and I have literally described other projects that Perot's worked on as Boruto is the kid that they actually give a shit about, Black Clover is their angry child who doesn't get enough attention, and Tokyo Ghoul Ri was a child in the corner sticking crayon up its nose.
And then Yona was the good.
Yona is the daughter that escaped to a good college.
She escaped the family.
She escaped the family.
It's something about red hair. There is no redheaded anime character that doesn't have a crappy upbringing but gets a happy ending in the end.
Okay, Shiryuki kind of had a semi-decent upbringing. Her dad was just kind of a dick.
Which, side note, I can't wait to start reading that manga.
Yeah, thanks, Viz.
Thanks, Viz.
No, but my thing is this: the writing is fine. But the one thing I want to do about this is that Yona of the Dawn is probably arguably what's considered one of the best contemporary shoujo manga out there.
Yes.
And one of the things I liked about the anime, from a writing standpoint, because even in the Japanese it was like this, because I actually watched Yona all the way through in the Japanese as it was airing. Like,
So did I.
yeah, Steph and I have watched this entire show like 3 or 4 times. Like, I love, like, this is by far one of the easiest shows in the world for me to marathon. Like, I could sit through the whole thing in a day.
I'm also gonna attempt to cosplay Yona for ABs. That'll
And I still want to cosplay as Jiha. To which, name pronunciations is weird, but that's because I think across, like, every translation of Yona, whether it be the manga, the Crunchyroll subs, the Funimation subs, there is no consistent way to spell or say people's names. Like,
Nope.
that's just the series. That's not Funimation. But my big thing is this. The writing on the show has the regal kind of sense that Noah says, but also has the personality of a shoujo manga that takes place in the contemporary day at times, and it doesn't bother me, which is really weird, because usually when shows are period pieces, I get really annoyed by that, but for some reason in this dub, it just never did. However, this show has some of the most baffling direction choices I have ever fucking seen.
Now you're not talking about the voice acting, you're talking about the show directing?
No, I mean, like, the voice acting direction.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
This dub does not make sense. And it's like, some of the casting choices are out of the box, but it's that weird double-edged sword where out of the box doesn't always work. And there's a couple of things on a technical level about this dub that just are really, really jarring. And one of these is gonna sound really stupid to a lot of people, but it bothers the living fuck out of me.
Okay.
And that is this. Except for one character, except for one character, every other male character in this show, when they are shown as a child and they talk, have a different actor. In fact, one of them has 2 different actors. And the second,
I know where this is gonna go. Oh no.
and I'm gonna go with this. The second actor for the person who has 3 actors should have been playing the third version, the third actor's person, the whole fucking show.
Angry.
I am very mad at the
you're not
direction
wrong,
of the
but-
show.
Yeah, the fact you could catch that you could pick that out when everyone else would probably just brush it off as it just sounds sort of different is really interesting.
No, because it's really jarring because except for the person who has 3 of them, all of the other characters, when they have a little child version of themselves that's a boy, all of them are played by female actors.
Except for
1.
which we'll get to.
2.
And we did not
And it
convene
is
on this, but I
very
know exactly
jarring.
which one you're thinking of.
And it is very, very jarring if you are somebody who pays attention to that. Because here's the other thing about all those child actors. All of them have very distinct voices and are very accomplished voice actresses. And here's the thing. For a lot of people, this isn't a nitpick. This isn't that big of a deal. And I probably sound like a nitpicky asshole. But here's the thing. Colleen and Clifford are some of the best directors at Funimation, and while I know this predates stuff like My Hero by a year, and a lot of other work they did, they should both know better.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Stop.
Cause
In the name of
in the case of Cliff,
This was his first direction.
He wasn't that experienced as a director yet.
Okay, so then on
first
Colleen,
show,
In the
wasn't
defense
it?
of Clifford Chapin, he was
Okay,
not experienced as a
Clifford gets a
director.
little-
I think because
This
he was
is
doing
more on
this,
Colleen.
He was the assistant for this, and Rolling Goes in the same season.
Okay.
and I think the only show prior to this that he directed was Dime a Dollar.
alright, she should have known better. And here's the other thing about this. That one time where that particular character, though, I don't even know if I can blame Colleen for this, too, because here's the thing. When that character appears, it's under when Cliff himself is directing the show and he's not the assistant.
We're talking about the younger
Version of this
the
character. It's in the
Yep.
first half of the show. That's
Okay.
why I'm going to be a little bit. I'm trying not to be like super harsh,
You're
but
right
it
on
is-
that one though.
but it is.
I mean-
and here's the other thing too is that there is one performance in this show where it's a bit like Free, where for a lot of people it's a completely fine and passable performance. I just don't like it at all. Like it's not bad, but it's just I cannot get behind it.
Okay.
And here's the weird thing about the show. Because the second half of the show was the one that came out first,
Mhm.
all of the actors who are these major player characters, especially ones that date back to the very beginning of the series, Cliff can't change those actors for home video.
I think on the commentaries he stated, well, he didn't outright say it, but the impression is given that
Colleen
basically
cast the show.
he was only in control of casting for like maybe the last couple of episodes of the second half and then the entirety of the first half of the show.
So yeah, the first half of the show casting I think is fine. But for the back half of the show casting, and by back half of the show, I mean a lot of the major characters, there are some head scratchers in there. And some of them work, and then some of them you're like, okay, back the fuck up. Overall, I think the dub is good, especially the home video version of it. The one other nitpick I would have is that if you're gonna reuse actors, don't have them be named characters, or don't have them be actors with really, really distinct voices. Chris Rager. Hi, I noticed you were in this show like as 2 different characters that showed up a lot. I just have a lot of like really nitpicky things about the dub that just bother me on like a technical level, and I think it's because, especially going forward from the point that Yona came out, both of these directors have arguably directed some of the best stuff that Funimation has put out in the last 5 years. I mean, Colleen is the head of My Hero Academia. Clifford Chapin has done, despite me disliking the show, and we all know I dislike the show, Darling in the Franxx, really good dub. SSS Gridman,
Yeah,
phenomenal dub.
Cliff since from that point on became probably the most consistent
consistent
director.
quality director.
Yes.
And he gets on a lot of big projects. But like I said, I have a lot of nitpicks with this dub that should not be a turnoff of I think this dub sucks. Because here's the thing, I don't think this dub sucks. If I thought this dub sucked, I would be a lot angrier than I am right now. I would be the Free episode Megan who was basically on the verge of tears. But this is like a show that like, hey, if I had to, I could go with either track and just be like, okay.
Okay.
But there's
Alright.
just a lot of like technical issues to me that just bother me.
All right, Gigi, your thoughts.
Wow, I forgot I was on this podcast.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Gigi.
You became the blue dragon for a second there.
Well, I mean, Megan had a lot of good points, all things considered. So
You know, so I watched this show really oddly. I first watched it subtitled while it was airing, but I only watched the first half.
Okay.
And then I bought it. I watched the first half dubbed like a year ago. And then I watched the second half last week. So, like, my desire...
Just as God intended it, the way to watch it.
Exactly. So my desire to watch this show was basically in the Japanese because it's trash. It's shoujo trash, let's be real. And I thought it was going to be a lot trashier than it was. But it was like Fushigi Yugi. It was like I wanted Fushigi Yugi to have a better dub. It would be this. Because the Fushigi Yugi dub is god fucking awful. Never watch it.
Is it like Utena dub awful?
No, Utena is by far the worst.
Oh.
Utena is like one of the worst dubs in the history of life. But that aside...
Dramatical Murder begs to differ.
Well...
Anyway.
Dramatical Murder did not... I'm sorry, but Dramatical Murder didn't deserve a great dub.
You shut your mouth.
I mean...
No, like the...
We're not going to talk about
I'm
this.
just talking about the technical adaptation of the show itself.
Anyway,
Fair.
so I'm lumping everything together except for whatever, because this is how I do. For the writing, it's easy to understand for a period piece, which I love a lot, because period pieces are hard to understand and I hate them. I hate samurai shows, all that Shinsengumi bullshit.
Hey!
with all those fucking titles that I can't
So many
pronounce.
swords.
She's right. She's absolutely right. Samurai Pizza Cats is like impossible to understand. Just who can
Okita Soji didn't die for this
Peace
bullshit
Corps references
slander.
and Kami Pinko references thrown in there. Like, she's right.
Okita
Samurai
Soji
shows
didn't
are
die
just
for
impossible.
this.
Shut up! Let Gigi finish.
However, because how am I the straight man in a Valentine's episode?
I don't know! How is this happening
I
today?
don't know.
You
I
kiss a
don't know.
Wookiee once.
What did you say about the Wookiee?
Nothing.
Oh God.
Megan.
Isn't this the first episode you recorded since then?
Yeah. I was trying to keep it on the DL, but you know,
I mean, it's already out there in the open. So.
everybody
did-
knows.
I didn't mean it like that.
I didn't even hear what you said.
Nothing.
All right then.
I'll find it later.
No,
It's
you
okay.
won't.
Okay.
Lilac, you've seen Bye Bye Birdie, right?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh shit!
What the hell is wrong with you? You were a theater major.
I know.
I
Right?
haven't seen it either.
Now there's the other at last. Going steady for good. Going steady. Going steady.
Oh my God.
Steady. Steady for good. Only Gigi will get that.
Bye Bye Birdie
got-
is done by the cast of The Birdcage.
Anyway.
Oh my God. So because this is so much like Fushigi Yugi, I liked the jokes that happened when they all turned into the chibis with the big fat outlines. Because that's exactly what happens in Fushigi Yugi, except their jokes were bad and these were actually funny. The second half of the show seemed less stiff than the first half. Make your jokes. And
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, have you seen Hawkspear?
What?
I said, have you seen Hawkspear?
Oh, it's so big and pointy. I love it.
And
Stop
heavy.
it. Finish your thoughts. Goddamn. We're already like 30 minutes in.
It's
Never.
not my fault.
That's
My
what she
fault.
said.
So basically, if I have issues with casting, I'm going to talk about them when I talk about the actors who play the characters. But I thought that for a period piece, I mean, I was kind of bored during parts of it, but that is like anime fault, not dub fault. So,
Except for the cabin
and
on.
I loved the sports anime that was shown in the middle for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Mock battle. Let's go.
But yeah, that's really all I have to say. I liked it. I wish the writing, were 20 years ago and could have been in Fushigi Yugi. It would have made my life.
Hey, Gigi.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the most aggressive Kabadon that's ever happened?
Oh my God. Did I not tweet about that this morning?
Oh, Jesus Christ, I could see this 8... Okay, let's be clear. Chicago wasn't getting 6 to 8 inches of snow last night, but they were getting 6 to 8 inches of flood that morning.
God damn it. Anyway, my thoughts on the directing and writing of the show. As someone who has seen the show in the Japanese and the English a couple of times, and actually am reading the manga, the writing for the show, because Megan, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the anime came out in the States before the manga did, yeah?
Yes, by a decent while.
Yeah, because what's interesting is the writing is very consistent between both versions. like the style and the.
Well, remember that, like, if you've ever watched, like, some of the Funimation behind-the-scenes videos, like, they will go out and get Japanese copies of the manga.
It's true. They will. But, so it's safe to say that a lot of the scripting choices in the show are very similar to what the manga had. So, despite it being a period piece and some of the language used in the show may not be suited for the period piece at the time, this is a shoujo romance show, part of a very popular shoujo romance manga magazine in Japan. So it makes a lot of sense that the shoujo style is translated and brought over here. So writing-wise, despite it being weird for a period piece, language-wise, it makes sense, in all honesty. The directing is what's very interesting, because if we take into consideration, one, it was part of the larger broadcast dub program in 2015. Two, it was... the staffing situation for directors in general was very odd at the time. Aside from, hello, let's start dubbing from the second half of the show. That was weird too. But, I mean, you live and learn. But, what's also interesting, and to Megan's point about the casting, one of the things that I think, once the broadcast dub initiative was expanded upon, was we saw the talent pool starting to grow a hell of a lot more. So, because some of the actors that we normally hear nowadays, they had smaller roles in Yona of the Dawn, because Justin Briner was in there, I heard Dallas Reed in there, Austin Tyndall was in there,
Ryan Reynolds was in there at one point.
Ryan Reynolds was in there, Michaela Krantz was in there, several lesser known actors that hadn't really gotten their chance to really shine yet, they were in this show. So to the credit of Colleen in this situation, because with the possible assumption that she put together the main cast of the show, to her credit, the talent pool probably wasn't large enough at the time. So she went with what she knew and what she could work with really well, and who she could work with really well for this. So I have to give her credit on that one. I actually don't mind the casting choices at all. Like, a lot of the casting choices, especially for the main cast, while some were creative, some were ones that we didn't see before or haven't heard of these actors play these certain character types in a long-ass time. Some were rather interesting, to say the least. I think out of the main cast of characters, the only one who hadn't been, I don't think, fully established at that point in time is the person who plays Yoon at the time. Obviously, that individual has gotten a hell of a lot more recognition since then with larger roles, and we'll get to him in a bit. But I think the casting is in the middle for me. Some of it's good, some of it's kind of and some of it's just like, I don't know what to think of this anymore. But, I
mean,
in general,
it kind of fits like the goulash of the whole show itself, because the show has a lot of different emotions throughout, so it fits to have a different range of voice actors too.
It is. It's very interesting, but it's not a terrible dub, not in the slightest. There are some choices that I would question, absolutely, but it's not gonna deter me from watching the show and finding enjoyment after. I love this fucking show. This dub is so much fun to me. Like, it's a lot of fun, but if from a critical standpoint, it's solid, but it's not downright amazing. But given the time period that this was dubbed,
okay, I gotta say something about that.
Okay,
I gotta say something about that. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse for the show. Honestly, it's not.
No, but we're not looking for excuse. We're looking for, like, the casual person goes and watches this, and they may wonder.
Yeah, and
what's
I know,
the
and I understand that. I understand that, but from like a critical perspective, saying, "Oh, it's kind of a period of its time," I'm like, that's kind of a bullshit excuse to me, because this is the same season where dubs for things like Assassination Classroom, Death Parade, and Tokyo Ghoul Re came out, and those are all three stellar dubs that all started up as broadcast dubs. I don't think that's fair to say that. Oh, it's because of the circumstances around it. No, there are three other dubs that came out in the same season who arguably at the time had, I think, like, three of the other, like, those were the three other shows that, like, I think at the time Funimation's, like, what would be considered Funimation's prestigious directors are on, that being Joel McDonald's, Zach Bolton, and Mike McFarland. Along with Colleen, like, it's not to say that you're wrong, Steph, I just think that, like, saying, oh, as a period of its time thing, giving, like, some of the more technical, like, I think technical, like, choices a pass as a time thing is kind of a BS thing, especially when I just listed off 3 dubs that still immensely hold up and are celebrated in the community today.
No, I get you, absolutely, you are right. I'm just playing, like, on a different side of it, you know what I mean?
Like, from a person who isn't critiquing it, like, as hard as we are.
Okay. Exactly.
Which this show kind of, like, defies exceptional critique on it, because it's such a, for the most part, like, a light, fun adventure kind of show. This isn't deep, thought-provoking, should I kill the principal who's a squid man, or should I let him live kind of mentality.
I mean, okay, look, the first season, at least the first half of Assassination Classroom, ain't that deep.
No, it's not.
No. I mean, again, we have to take in consideration how Yona's dub was actually done in the first place.
Yeah, and
like,
I think,
it is
like,
a very weird situation. Like, you can throw the argument in there with Tokyo Ghoul Rude. Yes, absolutely. However, again, like I mentioned earlier, Tokyo Ghoul Rude has a separate.
And here's my thing, and like, I guess I could have gotten. We can get into this in final thoughts more. Right. Is hey, no offense. If you were gonna, unless, like, Perot basically said you can't dub Tokyo Ghoul Re without doing this one, maybe they shouldn't have broadcast dubbed this show. Just saying. You could have saved it for home video, and saved kind of, I think, like, I don't know, we'll get to that in final thoughts.
I mean, there could be a lot of factors we don't know about. In all honesty, it could be one of those situations where there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we just don't know.
I mean,
yeah, and I guess we'll get more to that in final thoughts.
Apply death of the author mentality when it comes to critiquing dubs. Don't even think about the behind-the-scenes stuff or the levels of what caused it to go like this. Maybe focus on the time period a little bit, like Gigi was saying, something like Fushigi Yugi's time period may be an explanation for why it's that way, but when it comes to, like, your broadcast dub or your home video dub, it doesn't matter, because 20 years down the road, some nerdy otaku with pink hair is going to pick the show up off the shelf, watch it, and probably love it without having any information to how it was dubbed in the first place.
Yeah, like, casual viewing aside, I'm just saying, like, as somebody who's been doing critiques of dubs across the years, I think that saying, oh, well, looking at the situation, sometimes it's like, I think as a somebody critiquing, I am a little bit allowed to kind of go into that, but we'll get to that in final thoughts.
No, I mean, like, I'm believe me, I'm, like, from a casual standpoint, I love this dub. It's a lot of fun. From a critical standpoint, it's not the best. It's solid, not amazing.
That's a good place to end up.
It could be a variety of factors coming into play.
And
here,
we'll get to that when we have to.
I know. We've been stuck on this section long enough.
Can we please kill the king and move on to the adventure?
We're not even talking about the king
Calm
today.
down, Hans!
I want to talk about the king so bad. You know, okay, the king is played by Sean Hennigan, and it's so funny to me because he's this pacifist, wishy-washy person, and he's also the guy who voices the bad dad from Romeo x Juliet, who is a stone-cold bastard.
Yes!
He's also Maiza in Baccano, so...
Oh, fuck, why aren't we talking about Romeo x Juliet tonight? That would have been a fun one, too.
Because we're
for the future.
Because we're doing that down the line.
That is not shoujo trash. That is high-quality trash.
Anyway, Gigi, how you doing over there?
That is J. Michael Tatum.
I'm currently tearing on Udapri, so you guys keep talking amongst yourselves so I can keep my rank. Thanks.
She wants her Renuar so bad.
We are just,
I have one
Renuar.
I want 3 Renuars.
She wants to take...
This is no longer a Yona the Dawn episode. This is a how to play Udapri seminar. Everybody, take out your pens and pencils.
Yay!
Stay tuned to Channel Dub Talk in March of 2019.
How to play Udapri, don't pick Cecil.
Anyway, we're gonna move on to characters finally because we've been stuck on the staffing for way too fucking long. The first 2 groups
but for good reasons.
I know. It's good reasons why we're kind of on the staffing for a long ass period of time. But the first 2 sections of characters we're gonna be talking about, these are more secondary or minor characters that kind of have at least semi-decent roles in the show.
Because
Whether
like
as
in going
a
through the show,
support-
like the whole show is about finding the 4 dragon warriors. So it does not, let's say in one location, it's let's move from this setting to this setting to this setting, and in each different setting you have different characters who play a part in that arc. So that's why.
Right. So it's kind of going to be a mishmash of some of the more, I think anyway, kind of the more integral characters to help develop the major ones.
If they show up in the montage in the opening, we'll talk about them.
I didn't realize that they actually did show up in the montage until you said it. You were actually kind of right. Anyway.
Yeah,
so
and the good first opening.
I didn't say it wasn't good. Keep going.
Leave my
Lex.
Miley Cyrus opening alone.
Look, the song.
As long as we can all agree that the second ending's really good.
Yes.
I don't like the second ending.
Oh no.
How the fuck are we friends?
Anyway.
Is it our mutual hatred of Cecil?
Yeah.
In all honesty, I preferred the first opening much more.
Yeah,
First ending?
The first opening actually fits the show, but the second opening song is awesome.
Okay, it is
There
a
we go.
banger.
It is
Banger.
the song of the second one is a banger. The first one actually fits the show better. There we go. Anyway, the first set of characters, these are more integral characters that kind of help support and develop some of our major characters. We have Iksu, who is the famed oracle who was exiled from the Coca Kingdom. He is secluded, lives by himself. He lives with Yoon, who we will discuss later.
He lives in you.
The other 3 characters we're going to talk about in this section are more integral to each of our the major dragon warriors that we see. Mine is Zheno, because we only get Zheno for one episode, but that's another story entirely. We have the White Dragon Granny. She actually has her name. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. We also have the former Blue Dragon Owl.
Daddy!
Oh, Daddy.
Daddy!
And then we have Captain Gegen, who is integral to the Port Awa arc. She is a pirate captain for the band of misfit
Bad-ass pirate
pirates.
grandma!
Yeah! Who
Happy
just
Gasparilla people in Tampa.
who wants to just liberate Awa from the rule of this tyrannical leader. And Gegen is the arc where we actually meet Geeta, our green dragon.
The best character.
Wait. Awa is the name of a town?
Yeah, it's Awa.
No. Awa stands for Anime Weekend Atlanta. I thought she was liberating the anime convention. And she was saving all the cosplayers who were stuck under the ship. Yeah, I mean...
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the individuals voicing these characters, you motherfuckers. Alright, as Iksu, the Oracle, we have Juhl, who's been in series such as Butler, The Disastrous Life of Psyche K, and Sakura Quest. As the White Dragon Granny, we have Julie Erickson, who has been in series such as Fullmetal Alchemist, probably most notably in Fullmetal Alchemist, My Hero Academia, and Selector Infected Wecross. As Blue Dragon Owl, we have Chris Rager, who has been in series such as Assassination Classroom, Danganronpa 3, The End of Hope's Peak Academy's Future Arc, as well as Show by Rock. And as Captain Gegen, we have Wendy Powell, who most notably has been in series such as Fullmetal Alchemist, Tokyo Ravens, and she was a Pulp Go for Pop Team Epic at one point in time. So I'm going to start with Megan this time. What are your thoughts on these performances?
Oh god, Al was so hot.
Daddy, may I play with
Daddy.
Danger?
No.
Wait. She
Jill.
thinks the squirrel is hot? Hold on.
No. Also, okay,
kidding.
look.
How is it?
Look.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's hot like Big Tarzan Man hot. He
You're
looks
not wrong.
like holy shit, slam me to a wall, Daddy.
Men, all the men listening out there, let this be a note to you. There is a woman out there for you. There is a woman.
Roots of justice,
Don't worry.
there you go.
Justice
Whatever
Kavanaugh.
you are, your build, your personality, there is a woman out there for you.
I'm sorry, he's really attractive for looking like he hasn't showered in years.
Jenny
Right?
just walked in and it's like, there is?
Megan, our friendship has just been rekindled over our daddy.
Oh god. Also, shout out to Brittany Karbowski for ripping my goddamn heart out with him.
With little
Oh
Shana.
god,
Oh,
like
God.
that episode fucking destroyed me.
Oh boy.
Look, everyone, like, I always do this thing where it's like, hey, people who only know Chris Rager from, like, Dragon Ball, you should really watch other anime because he's a really good dramatic actor.
Yes, he is.
Like, I loved him as Al more than the other guy in the pirate arc who kept, like, wanting. Was it him or Chris George?
On Yoon.
Was he the one that keeps trying to marry Yoon, or was that Chris George?
No, that was Rager.
Yeah, for some reason he was, like, really keen about marrying Yoon, who's, like, 15, so step up, buddy. He and Julie Erickson were kind of, like, around for, like, only a little bit, so I don't have, like, as much to say about them. I think they're perfectly fine in their roles. Jerry Juhl's Iksu is, the other type of Jerry Juhl that I enjoy, dumb as a sack of rocks. He's adorable, he's charming, he's Yoon's dad.
I'm going to jump out of plane now. I come from Russia, where there's lots of snow. Snow is soft.
Stop
I know
it.
that it is safe
Stop
to jump
it.
out of plane.
Vodka!
I'm
it.
sorry,
Not
Gigi.
acceptable
Stop it.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not
Just
sorry,
imagine
but
Victor
I empathize.
Nikiforov jumping out of a
What is
plane
my
for
safe
Yuri.
word with you, Noah? Jesus Christ.
God damn it.
Your safe word with
This-
Noah is yabba dabba doo.
That would kill the mood. That would definitely kill the mood.
Oh, yabba dabba doo me!
Happy Valentine's Day, boys and girls.
I swear to God, Noah, I need you to yell that at Jenny at least once in your life, and I will give you money.
You know, this footage will never surface, but when we got married, I did say at my vows, I yabba dabba do.
God damn it,
not.
you're a...
You will never be able to prove that that's
Noah,
not
can you
true.
please... Noah,
I'm coming
can you
over
please...
in a couple months, dude. I'm gonna find that tape.
Talk to
As
Jenny
if
about
Noah
it, Gigi,
hasn't-
get the dirt.
As if
girl
Noah
trust.
hasn't, like, recorded, like, some James Baxter test animation over his wedding video.
I will Snapchat the shit out of that.
Anyway, Maggie,
Put it
keep
on
going.
YouTube Put it on your YouTube channel. No, also be Noah, please get officiated for when I get married to be the priest at my wedding. I would pay you good money.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
But no, for me, holy shit, I love Wendy Powell as Captain Gegen, because here's the one thing that I really enjoyed about her being Captain Gegen, is that despite the character looking, like, being older and kind of looking older, she's not a goddamn grandma.
Yeah.
Like, she's, like, in her, like, maybe late 50s.
She-
And I like
yeah.
the fact that she's, like, oddly southern.
Yes, she has those twinges of a southern
And she,
accent
like,
in there.
swears a
Kinda fun.
ton. She swears a ton, and I love the shit out of that performance, because I like that they didn't go stereotypical older female, like, older lady voice with her. Like, this is one of those things I said in the earlier section where, like, a double-edged sword can get, like, going out of the box can be a double-edged sword. This is the time where it goes really good, because I love her. She's probably one of my favorite performances in the show, and especially her, off of the gentleman who plays, I'm gonna keep calling him the wrong name. No, not Geha.
Jiha.
Jiha! I wanted to call him Geha because he kind of has, like, they make a lot of gay jokes at his expense.
Yes, they do. Kind of funny.
I honestly, this could be coding, but I do think he may be bi.
Look here. Jiha is 100% bisexual, and you can't convince me otherwise. As a bisexual person myself, I stand Jiha hard. In this house, we stand one dragon. But no, I love the shit out of Wendy Powell, and it's really weird because Wendy Powell is one of those actresses I wish that was in a lot more anime because she's really good and she's rarely ever in things anymore.
Yeah.
And in closes, I just want to say that she also does probably one of the best Scooby-Doo impressions ever.
Anyway, Gigi, what are your thoughts on these performances?
Yeah, go ahead, Gigi.
I'm gonna go real quick. Jerry Juhl plays a typical Jerry Juhl character. That's what he does. It's what he does best. Let him do it. The White Dragon Grandma, 10 out of 10. Typical grandma. Gegen, or whatever, the pirate lady, hate the accent work. It's not there all the time. It only pops out sometimes. And it's inconsistent, and I don't like it. I don't feel that she's as grizzled as she could be because she's a pirate. But I do feel that the choices that were made there were good because for some odd reason she becomes a mother figure to Yona, which makes zero sense to me.
I don't remember
But
my
if Yona
mother.
wants a mom, Yona's gonna get a mom. She's a better mom than she is a pirate. And then who did I miss?
Chris
Ow.
Rager, your dad.
Oh, my daddy, Chris Rager. Hold on, because I wrote something really great for him.
Oh boy.
Please continue to smoke 30 packs a day and talk in my ear all the time. I love you, you so angry, powerful, and scary goddamn dragon. Please dragon me anywhere you want, preferably into a cave that has a lock on the door.
How does that work? A cave with a lock on the door.
Look, how does
Gigi?
this whole anime work? What?
Hey, Gigi.
Hey,
I think
Megan.
with Chris Rager's dragon, you're gonna star in How to Train Your Dragon 4, How to Ride Your Dragon.
Basically.
You'll make his dream work.
DreamWorks. These R-rated DreamWorks movies are really clashing with their earlier content.
It's the porn version. So yeah, we liked Daddy.
How to Calm Your Dragon.
Oh, god damn it.
Stop it! We're
I'm
never gonna be
done.
done with this.
I'm done.
So
I'm done.
if we're talking about the other R-rated DreamWorks movies, I think we need to get over your hedge.
I don't get it.
Oh, that's a long. Never mind.
I get that joke.
Wow.
If you have to explain it, it's not funny.
I
Yeah,
get it too,
no.
unfortunately, and I've never
Instead
even
of
seen the
Shrek,
movie.
it's called Wreck.
God damn it.
I don't get it.
Because he's gonna wreck that pussy.
Is that what Wreck-It Ralph is really about?
Yes, it's about
He has
wrecking that
very
pussy.
He has very big hands.
Anyway.
All the better for
anyway.
fisting.
God damn it.
I mean, I did think it was
fuck
fun.
up.
I did think it was funny that they rewrote Pussy in Boots to be more kid-friendly.
We're never gonna
I'm
get
sorry,
through this.
Gigi, that you have to be the straight man tonight.
We're never gonna get through this episode.
Never,
today.
never.
As somebody...
Anyway, I'm gonna go next. My thoughts on these characters. Okay. So, the easy ones. The White Dragon Granny, Julie Erickson.
Did you
He
just
has
call
a
the
lot of
White
energy
Dragon
and-
Granny easy?
I
can feel you slapping me from across the state.
Shut the fuck up, or we're never gonna get this done. Alright? Holy shit. Julie Erickson has energy and a spunk about her as the White Dragon Granny, and I love it. It's fun. Stop laughing!
That's what we're
She's got that white dragon spunk, if you know what I'm saying.
Blue Dragon Owl, Chris
Daddy.
Rager. Shows toughness, but also, what the fuck did I write? Toughness, but my pen is dumb and it was drying out, it was just like dying on me. Shows toughness, but also exhaustion as the former blue dragon grows older. Because one of the big things, and it's mostly displayed in the backstory for Shinha, is as the new dragon warrior grows and like gains the power, the old one loses the power and then eventually dies. So that backstory is a little bit tragic. So you can tell that Chris Rager's show is very, very tough, but he also has this exhausted tone, this exhausted feel to him, and I appreciate that. Captain Gegen, Wendy Powell, is tough as nails and such a great maternal figure. See, in terms of the accent, I don't think it was a purposeful move. I think it might have just slipped out on occasion. That's my thought on it. Because I don't think the intent was Gegen having some kind of accent, period. It just slipped on occasion from Wendy as for their natural accent. And then, as for Jerry Juhl, I don't even think I wrote any notes for Jerry, did I? I did not. That is great. Jerry, this is Gigi's right. This is kind of a typical Jerry Juhl role that you normally see him play, as the goofball, clumsy little dingbat. But he has his moments where he is very insightful and is a guiding hand that is needed in the show, and I do very much appreciate that. I am done. Noah, what are your thoughts?
Well, you said your pen was drying out, right?
Don't start.
You know, there's nothing worse for a guy when his pen dries out.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's what happens when you get the snip.
Sometimes you just gotta shake it until you get it working again.
Oh baby.
I'm gonna
Jesus
say
in
that to
heaven.
Andrew right now.
No, you will.
Does he have that
you
problem?
will break it. Personal boundaries, Gigi.
We don't have boundaries here.
No, we don't.
Noah, just tell me your thoughts on these performances.
I suppose.
Come on, Noah, whip it out. Whip out those opinions all over my face.
Oh my god, it's so hot.
Daddy!
Daddy, please.
This is not the kind of snowstorm I thought I was getting tonight.
Oh, come on, you said there was going to be 8 to 12 inches.
God damn, stop it! We're not gonna be finished at this rate. Just go.
Where's my tape
Noah,
measure?
please.
Hold on, let me get my tape measure. Hold on.
Oh my god! Not
here
the time
here
or
it is.
place. No,
Hi, guys,
God.
I'm Noah Clue. Cartoon reference, cartoon reference, cartoon reference. I hate the mouse.
Legit, guys, can we please?
This is all
Can we
for
please focus?
boys and girls, do not piss off your lilac. You will live to regret it. Okay.
Yes, you will. Can we please focus?
So okay.
We're already like an hour in.
Okay, so bring it back to this show. This show has lots of side characters that all of them fit within the world of this. This is a feudal Korea type of world where we don't have advanced technology. We're still living in a king hierarchy type of, and there's lots of miniature kingdoms within the larger kingdom. So all these characters are really good at fleshing out that huge world. So for Iksu, we get the mentality that not only are there mythical dragons, but there's also the power of prophecy. You get like that Grecian prophet kind of person, but it's not a royal, regal kind of voice because the character is not royal and regal. He is a klutz. He is a walking disaster factory, and that is perfect for Jerry's performance, because I think I wrote down, he is actually the most fun to listen to of the side characters. He's got this contrast of a free-spirited individual who's, I'll go wherever the spirits tell me to go, while birds are flying in the background, while at the same time, he nearly dies because he forgets to eat after a couple of days. He is just that accident prone. And
it's true.
I like Jerry.
The Oracle of Bashan Phi.
So I like Jerry's performance in this. If you'll remember all the way back to the Yuri on Ice episode, I did not mind his performance as Victor at all, because I like that kind of goofy persona he brings to it. It's more fitting in this show. So I kind of wish he was around a little bit more, but the fact that we got to him at the very last episode again was like, love it. Love it so much. White Dragon Granny. Julie Erickson's, she doesn't really have like a super distinct voice. Like, it was the kind of voice that I know I've heard her before. If you need like a fussy grandma character, then she's always the person they go to. And in this show, she gets a lot of funny and heartwarming moments, because she's like being carried around by manservants about how everybody take care of the white dragon, make sure that he's not being overworked, and you have to pick out a wife kind of grandma, but also gets really teary-eyed when he has to leave. So
here, take this woman.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's my favorite part. Take these extra clothes, take this food, and here, have a woman with you. Like, what?
I can't carry all of this with one hand. It's kind of fun to have like that mentality of like, the White Dragon's kingdom is one that is super protective of their white dragon. He is like a god to them, and so having this grandma who overdotes on him is really funny to have. But also you get the heartwarming leaving scene as well, which it kind of is a good indication of the comedy of the show. It'll go serious, but it'll also have those chibi comedy moments just to lighten things up a little bit. So it never gets super serious. Speaking of getting super serious, let's talk about Blue Dragon Ow a little bit, because that was personally my favorite tiny arc of the whole show. That mentality of someone who is born with a supernatural ability and everybody hates them for it. It's something that I think we can all relate to as being super talented individuals ourselves. We were probably shunned and cast out of our kingdoms, and that is why...
I mean, if being a big bitch is a supernatural power...
It's underrated. It really is. So, I apologize, Megan, for when you were kicked out of your kingdom. I hope they didn't hurt your ass too hard.
Well, you can ask my biological mom about that.
No, I'm not gonna go that far.
Anyway.
But Chris Rager, let's talk about Chris Rager's performance on that. You call him daddy. That's not what I'm watching the show for. I'm watching someone who, like, there's some real understanding in how painful that is to have this curse put upon you. I think I said to the chat while I was going through this, I think the mangaka cribbed a few story ideas from Fruits Basket, because this reminds me a lot of the relationship that Kyo had, and how I think it was the previous cat's grandson took a liking to Kyo because of the fact that his
I get you.
yeah, there's this like only one person will look out for you but that's all you really need in this world. So
okay, there's a bit of difference between their stories, which is number one, as somebody who loves the shit out of Fruits Basket, he doesn't take him in because they make him take him in.
Yeah.
He takes him in because he wants to, and he feels guilty about his own relationship with his grandfather.
Exactly.
Number two, I think Yona, like, I don't know if anybody else caught it, but here's the thing. I think they killed Shinaw's mom when he was born.
They
No, like, I think they straight up, she either killed herself when he was born, or they killed her.
Yeah.
She killed herself.
She killed herself.
It's in the show that because she felt so much shame for giving birth to the next.
That's where it's similar. That's where it's similar.
Yeah, she went almost full Momiji's mom there.
Well, no, Kyo's mom straight up kills herself.
Yeah, I know, but I was trying to keep it lighter here, but
yeah.
But we're talking about Ow Daddy here. Ow Daddy. This entire
Shit.
I feel a little bad that I didn't catch that Chris Rager was in other parts of the show, because I don't have enough of a base of reference to catch him in other parts, but he was distinct enough from the other male voices in the show. Like, he wasn't exactly the same as Sunhawk, he wasn't the same as Juntae. He was a distinct enough tough voice that sounded very worn down, and in that sense he fits the character for the one episode that we hear him in really well. So good job, Chris Rager. And my personal favorite, my absolute favorite character of the side characters, I love me some Grandma Pirate. I love Wendy Powell as Grandma Pirate. That was like, yes, take me aboard, take me on an adventure, Grandma. Because I didn't even mind at all that she became like a mother character. Because like, if you've seen shows, you've seen the movie Laputa Castle in the Sky, right?
No. Out
of this podcast. Get out. You're kicked out. All right, for the rest of you who have seen it.
Excuse me?
For the rest of you...
Y'all are derailing it. Your asses are gonna get kicked out.
Okay, well, there's this trope in anime about, like, tough women characters who, like, act tough on the outside, but then once you crack their surface, they're just, like, honey-baked sweet rolls on the inside who just want to be a good mother to you. And in that... Gegen is kind of, like, the best of both worlds in that regard. Like, she's tough, and she drinks and she smokes, but as long as you don't piss her off, she will be there for you till your dying day. And Wendy Powell captures that dynamic. I didn't even catch any accent portions of it. I just thought that the voice that she gave her was much more rural than the regal characters, because, you know, she's been living out in the ocean, she's living with a bunch of guys, she's supposed to be tough, she's living in a seaport that traditionally is supposed to have a less regal speech pattern to it. So if there was like localisms that she gave it, I just chalked it up to that was part of her character to begin with. So yeah, okay. I want the spin-off manga where we just focus on the pirates for the whole show.
Maybe a prequel, if anything.
Oh right, because they disband after the...
They disband in the show, yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm not gonna lie that it kind of, I know we're not talking about them, but there's a part where I think, like, the Green Dragon. I keep on calling him Geha. Gia, and then Dallas, Ryan Reynolds, Ian Ferguson, and Chris George are like all drinking, and Ryan Reynolds just has this. He's like, "Come on, I'll play you a lullaby," and Ryan Reynolds is like, "I want to go to fucking sleep," and he's like, "Why?" Because when I wake up, the dream will be over and I won't be a pirate anymore. And that part, like, kind of, like, got me in the heart. It's like, look.
Yeah, it was really cute.
Why'd you have to wake me up? I was having that great dream where I was a ninja. Dude, you are a ninja. I am? Holy crap, that's awesome.
That's the plot of Naruto, everybody.
Anyway, are we good to move on?
Yes.
Yes, mommy.
Okay.
Let us sail away.
All right, our next set of characters. They're going to be more supportive characters and roles, more specifically for the palace, and with Suwon, who we'll talk about later. So, our four characters we're going to talk about next. We have Han Judo, who is technically the direct retainer for Suwon once he ascends to the throne.
Is he the guy who's 34 and never got laid?
Well, he's the one who accompanies him, who accompanies Suwon to...
Yeah.
Yes, and that is the guy who's 34 and has never been laid.
20, yeah.
No, he's 34. No, he's 34. He's 34.
I thought
because
25, but no, 25 is Aaron Roberts' character, who we're not talking about. John Bergmeyer. John Bergmeyer's character, who we're not talking about. That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, then we have Guntae, who is one. I should have also said this. Hanjudo is one of the 5 generals. Guntae is also one of the 5 generals, specifically of the Earth Clan, though. And he loves himself war. Clearly, not to the levels of the major loving war, but still. Then we don't have necessarily one of the 5 generals, but we have the son of one of the 5 generals. We have
His asshole son.
His asshole little youngest son, Kong Taejun. He's only important because he does create a pivotal moment for Yona during the first half of the show.
Symbolism.
And then we have Son Munduk, who is the former general of the air
Wind Clan.
Wind Clan. Thank you, because Hanjudo
air-
is sky. That's what it was.
This is not Avatar, Lilac.
Sorry, but he
Can't be
is
if we
the
try.
adoptive. But more importantly, he's the adoptive grandfather of Son Hawk, who we'll discuss later. As for the
And
individual
Son Hawk's adorable little brother.
named Michaela Krantz, who we don't get to talk about today. But anyway, the individuals voicing these characters. As Hanjudo, we have Robert McCallum, who has been in series such as Attack on Titan, Double Decker, and SSSS Gridman. As Guntae, we have Brandon Potter, who has been in series such as Izetta the Last Witch, School Rumble, and One Piece. As Kong Taejun, we have Christopher Bevins, who has been in series such as Aka 13 Territory Inspection Department, Drifters, and The Heroic Legend of Arslan. And as Son Munduk, we have Kent Williams, who's been in series such as Darker Than Black, Fruits Basket, and Rage of Bahamut Genesis. Gigi, would you like to go first with your thoughts on these characters?
Yeah, they're going to be real quick. Here we
Cool.
go. Kent Williams, 10 out of 10, sexy grandpa.
I mean, he's got the scar.
He does.
Yeah, you know, whatevs. Robert McCullum, Dick? Question mark? Can't remember him at all. Very formal from when I saw him for 2 seconds. Chris Bevins, not particularly menacing for a bad guy, but it sort of works for this character. And finally, Brandon Potter, who I have more than 4 seconds of stuff worth to say about. Really liked this performance. He was very alpha, but he was a smart alpha. And I think he brought a lot of levels to this character. Maybe it's because I like dumb alpha boys who are, you know, kings of the sports festival.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed him.
Gigi,
10 out of 10.
For the non-norms around here, can you explain what alpha even means?
It's the one that gets to breed in the ABO fanfictions.
I don't even read those.
They're the ones that produce the baby batter for the butt babies.
Oh my god. Anyways.
He is a man.
That is
he is like a man's man.
Oh, okay.
He is like Tool Time, like not like Home Improvement, but like
he likes to swing his hammer.
but
my
like the guys
God.
at Home Depot who will build me a crate. Yeah, that guy.
Hey, Mr.
God.
Home Depot man, come to my house and build some shelves. Then you can hit me in the wine rack.
Wow. God damn.
Megan, we know your parents raised you better than that.
Are you sure, though?
Anyway.
I blame my entire repertoire of awful sex jokes on the Ghost Stories dub.
Christ.
Anyway, are you
It's all
good?
your fault, Chris Patton.
Gigi, are you good?
I'm done. I only came here to talk about dragons, and really one in particular. So feel free. Keep
Don't
going.
worry, we're gonna get to the dragons next. Hold on. We gotta
I'm
get
gonna
through
tear
these
on
first.
Udapri.
Damn you,
Keep going.
Megan. All I've got I've got Ghost Stories puns in my head now. God damn
God
you.
damn it. Anyway, I'll go next on this one. So, Robert McCullum is Robert McCullum.
Is he?
I mean-
Are
Holy
you sure?
shit! He is who we thought he was, and we let him off the hook.
Let's see who you really are. Rips
Really
off the
are.
mask.
Shut the fuck up.
It was Robert.
No, I think Robert.
Shinya Kogami.
I considering Hanjudo basically is the retainer for this really, I don't want to call it Suwon wacky. He's two-faced. Suwon is very two-faced.
Cold-hearted snake. Look into his eyes.
It's true.
Whoa, he's been telling lies.
Yes. Considering he has to be this strong, stern presence when Suwon just, on the outward appearance, just goofs off all the fucking hell. I think Robert does very good with that. Brandon has a rough and tumble feel as Tagunte, and is one of the more physically imposing characters, which is something that is shown very well during the little arc where Suwon and Hanjudo visit the Earth Clan and talk to Gunte and all this mock war and all this kind of fun stuff. And Brandon Potter does very well with that. Kent Williams. Did I write anything for Kent Williams? I actually did not. Cool. Kent Williams is a good grandpa. Kent Williams is also rough and tumble, but he also is very gentle on the inside. Like, he really cares about his family and he cares about his people. And he's willing to do everything and anything to protect them. And that's something that Kent Williams definitely portrays with the performance. As for Christopher Bevins, see, Taejun is an interesting character. Having read more of the manga, Taejun actually has a larger role to play, actually, in the manga. And it's very interesting because his development and his character arc, it's a bigger character arc and he grows a lot more in the manga, which I'm, again, sad we don't get that. But for what we do have, Christopher Bevins is a horny little asshole, and it's wonderful because Taejun wants to marry the princess by any means necessary.
Calm down, bro. She's 13.
Yeah, it's calm down, bro. She's 13. But yeah, and then during the parts where he chases after Hera and Hawk and all this other stuff with Fallout, you see this desperation go from desperation to absolutely broken individual, which is where we leave this character off at the end of the show, which I think Bevins does play that cycle very, very well, and I do enjoy it. Noah, your thoughts on these characters?
Oh boy. I don't know if it's the fault of the art direction of the show, but none of the designs for these characters really stood out to me very much. They're defined in my head by where, like, the backgrounds that they're in or which episodes they're in. Like, okay, Brandon Potter is the easiest one for me to pick out. Mostly because we don't really see Juntae until that mock battle in episode 17, but also because Brandon Potter has, like, this really distinct voice that I can pick out in any situation. Like, he had a one-bit part in Spice and Wolf, and I instantly caught him in that. Or if he's got, like, bit parts in other shows, I'll automatically know that it's him. So, but in this show, it works really well because even though Juntae is supposed to be, like, this war veteran who is just hungry to go back to war, we see throughout the whole show that he's got a soft side to him. Like, he's got a wife who cooks this floral tea that he pretends not to like, and he's, like, super tough acting in the mock battle, but then he gets upended when he finds out that Suwon is actually not a squirrel, but is actually a vicious wolverine. So in that whole part,
It was an eagle, thank you.
He was a what?
It was an eagle, thank you.
You're right.
Whatever it was still good.
He did not crack the bowl on his head fast enough. That was a weird battle. But yeah, Brandon Potter, good job as Juntae. Let's talk about some of the other ones. Robert McCallum is kind of, seems like the sidekick to Suwon, but he doesn't do very much. Like, he accompanies him, he's tough acting, and he tries to remind him about the importance of taking care of the kingdom, but as far as, like, actual actions go, in a box by himself, he doesn't do very much. That's not saying anything against Robert McCallum, because this is a voice that works well for him. He's supposed to be a loyal servant who's also devoted to his job. Like, if a salaryman existed back in feudal Korea, this would be the kind of role that he would have. Like, he will grow up to basically be the salaryman from middle management Tonegawa. Let's see, Kent Williams, also not too much to say on that one. Like, I didn't have anything bad to say about that either. It's just kind of there, and it's not fair to these actors that these characters get kind of passed up because the show does not care too much about giving them too much dynamic exposure. Most of the show is devoted to Yona and her posse. So these characters fill out the gaps when we're not focusing on the other characters, and they fill out their roles well. But I do want to give high praise to Chris Bevins for not only for being crucial to the part where we we have that symbolic, like, you cut off her hair and suddenly she's a tough badass now. But also, he gets, like, I didn't mean to laugh at it, but it was funny to me when he goes back to Suwon with the cut off hair, and when he realizes what he's done, because he thinks he's killed Yona, basically. He's like, punish me! Please punish me! And Suwon doesn't. He starts walking away. He's like, no, sir, you have to punish me! Please kill me! Please kill me now! You know what? I'm perfectly happy with leaving him as a sobbing wreck who's mad because Daddy doesn't punish him. And it's more than anything else we're going to see.
Punish me, Daddy Suwon.
God damn it.
I'd watch that anime.
Please punish me, Daddy Suwon. I mean, he asked him to put him in the dungeon.
I would go.
As if Suwon probably has a dungeon.
Oh.
I would definitely make an appearance.
Gigi rolls up to the Crimson Dragon Castle going, hey, baby, put me in that dungeon.
What do I have to do to go down there?
Anyway.
What do I need to go down for you,
She got, like, these eyes wide shut masks on, and she's got, like, the whip ready.
Megan, your thoughts on
Giggity.
the performances?
I actually find it really funny because I watched the commentaries for the show, I think, like, when I got the discs. And I remember Kent Williams talking about the fact that he's like, oh, hey, I'm another old guy in this anime because that's all I do now. And I'm against John Swayze, so that's a plus.
Hold on. Wasn't this the same commentary where we find out Cliff has never been, like, in a theater production before, and then Kent's like, yeah, no, it's happening.
Oh, yeah, no, because that's, where they all find out Cliff never did theater, and they're all like, yeah, bullshit, buddy. Like, they all call bullshit. He's like, no, really, guys. Not yet you haven't. Kent's like, haha, not with that attitude, bitch. No, but I think Kent Williams is fine as Moondog. He's the right level of, like, that's the other thing I like, is that despite Moondog being older, it is very clear that Moondog still got it.
That's true.
And I think one of my other favorite moments in the show is when Hawk's kind of having that emotional night before he leaves. He's like, what was it? He's like, where did you get that liquor? From your top shelf. Oh god, who else are we talking about? Brandon Potter's great as the guy who is just, he's literally a guy, he's like the burnout of adult characters. He's like, fuck this life, fuck this shit, my wife's annoying. Yep. Why we gotta play this fucking game? Who's this pussy ass bitch in front of me? Oh shit. My favorite thing is he's like, wait a minute, I saw the look in his eyes. Is he fucking with me? And he's like, wait a minute, holy shit, I'm gay for him. Despite being married. He's like, wait, Suwon, come back, I will suck your dick.
Anyway.
No, but Brandon Potter's fine. Robert Mccallum is just kind of there for me. It's like, I was like, who the fuck is Robert Mccallum in the show? It's like, oh yeah, that's right, you're that guy. And it was fine, it was just what the show needed. And then there's sexual predator Chris Bevins.
Please, no, Christopher Bevins
is not a sexual predator.
Everybody remembers that
Just
90s sitcom, Sexual Predator, Chris Bevins.
Stop that.
Please.
No, and I say that because I think I literally went in the chat when he's like, come on, Yona, come back to my private estate with me. And he's like clearly like 19 or something. And my immediate reaction was, holy shit, dude, she's 13. And like, here's the one thing, it's not like anime 13 where she looks like she's 18. No, like she actually looks like a kid still. And he's trying to get up on that pootie. And then Hawk comes up and is like, yeah, we fucking get out of here. We engage, motherfucker.
Dude, they're just talking.
For this character, because that's what this character is, pathetically frustrated that he can't get a girl to like him, and he then thinks that he Mufasa's her.
Long live the king.
God.
Long. How many Disney jokes can we make this an episode? Long live your dead dad. Push.
Stab.
Anyway. I think they're all fine, but let's get into the real meat and potatoes of the show.
Let's get to the real meat and potatoes of the show. We're gonna talk about our 4 dragon warriors now.
Oh, baby, I'm ready for this gangbang.
In order...
So's Gigi.
In chronological order of appearance in the show, we have Geeta, the white dragon, who has the power of the dragon in his right hand.
He's got the power of the Yowie hand.
God damn it.
Wait. Are we talking about Geeta?
Yes.
Yeah, and his yaoi hand.
Oh, okay, I'm back
We're on
now.
the dragon's fight.
Which-
Gigi's like, I'm gonna stop tearing now.
No,
I'm
I'm just
sorry.
putting it on pause. I can let my LP save up for a little because we're here to talk about the thing that I have the poncho on for. So let's go.
All right.
Don't worry, Gigi.
Hold
He's
on.
got
Let me finish-
extra wide ones for
Let me finish
fingering.
introducing the characters. God damn it. So Geeta, the white dragon, we have Shinha, who is the blue dragon, who has the power of the dragon in his eyes and can see very, very far distances. We have Jiha, who is the green dragon, who has the power of the dragon in his right leg. And we have Zeno, the yellow dragon, who What? Here's the thing. So we're introduced to Zeno in the very last episode of the anime. The story or the rumor is that he has impenetrable skin. That's the supposed rumor.
He believes in
as
moisturizing.
Oh, so that's why he was a shield in that thing at the end
Yes.
of the episode.
Yes.
Can I say what his actual power is?
No, I don't want to know. I want to read the manga.
Okay.
DM it to me, Megan. I want to find out.
The individuals who are voicing these characters as Geisha, we have Ian Sinclair, who has been in series such as Blood Blockade Battlefront, The Heroic Legend of Arslan, and Kami-sama Kiss. As Shinha, we have Eric Vale, who's been in series such as Fruit Basket, Hitelia, and Noragami. As Jiha, we have, surprisingly enough, actually, at least I think, Joel McDonald.
Please let me go first because I want to talk about that.
Who has been in series such as Baccano Fairy Tail and My Hero Academia. And as for Zeno, we have Josh Greeley, who has been in series such as The Ancient Magus Bride, Devil's a Part-Timer, and Snow White with the Red Hair. To which, on this one, because when I originally made the vlog episode such a long time ago, at the time we weren't confirmed as to who Jiha and Zeno were, voice actor wise, and I made the prediction that Josh was gonna be Zeno, and I was fucking right. So I was like,
Bringing
hell
sexy
yeah.
Josh.
This is before
Yeah.
Sexy Josh was a thing.
Not even
too.
sexy in this show.
He's
No,
like a
he's
little
really
mall
not.
rat. It's like a
And-
little mall rat.
Anyway, Megan, you wanted to go first?
Yes, I do.
Then
Because
go
I will talk about Zeno and Shina first because I need to specifically save Gija and Jiha for last. Eric Vale. It's really weird that he's the quiet character, but here's the thing too. I actually like that they picked that they kind of kept the same style that they did with the Japanese in this case. Because if you didn't know, in the Japanese version of Yona of the Dawn, Shina is played by Nobuhiko Okamoto,
Yes.
who you know as Bakugo.
Surprise!
Nice! So I like that they took traditionally actors who are known for being a little bit more loud and over the top and had them play a character that's quiet. You can very clearly tell it's Eric Vale being soft. I like that he didn't go Yuki Soma with his performance, because Yuki Soma's more on the softer range of Eric Vale characters. I like that they kept him kind of not as loud and exuberant as Eric Vale can be, like, think more of your, like, Phoenix Wrights and stuff. And I like that they didn't have him go creepier, more like, along the lines of, like, Shigaraki, who is quieter, but has a creepy undertone to his voice. So I think that he is, perfectly fine there. I do like that you could tell, Shina is a little bit older. And again, like I said, I mentioned it in the Owl section, but Jesus Christ, Brittany Karbowski was phenomenal as baby Shina. Zeno, Lilac, did you ever watch the last episode commentary?
I think a long time ago. I haven't watched it in a while, though.
Where Josh says that Zeno is literally his customer service voice.
I remember now, yes!
That is my favorite joke about, I think that, Josh as Zeno is adorable. I just wish that Zeno was in the goddamn fucking show more. Or that they would make a season 2 so you can get to Zeno's backstory and, Josh can rip our hearts out.
Yep.
You will fucking cry your eyes out to Zeno's story.
Yep.
I think that he was perfectly fine. Now here comes the fun part. I mentioned seiyus before. It's very fitting that Gigi's playing a Renjinguji event.
Junichi Suwabe in here?
Yes, and he is Jiha.
Jiha.
He's Jiha.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would have been so much better.
Oh, fuck you! No.
Look here, we're gonna have
There,
words.
bit. We're gonna have words.
Wait, because I wrote something similar. Wait a minute.
Hold on. Let me explain.
You finish, and then I'm gonna go where I'm gonna go.
Okay. it's really funny that if you watch the last episode commentary for Yona of the Dawn, if you happen to own this, they actually make it an explicit point to point out that Ian isn't Jeha.
That's what I was gonna say.
They actually They pointed out. They're like, yeah, aren't you usually like matched up to this guy because he's space dandy? And they're like, yeah, I know. And it's kind of really funny that they brought it up, because I think I had brought it up to like a bunch of people before. I'm like, yeah, no, like, has anybody else tracked this? Because it used to be a lot more prevalent when Yona came out. Like, it's not as bad now. But no, I love Joel McDonald as Jeha. And like, look, I'm pretty sure Ian Sinclair could have rocked it as well. Like, either guy would have been fine. I actually like the fact that they reversed the expectations of who you thought would have been the White and Green Dragons. Because traditionally, I think that if it was under another director who wasn't willing to go outside of the boxes for these characters, Joel would have 100% been Geeta. And I don't think it would have been as funny. Because as much as the show would like to make Geeta look like a badass, he's kind of the butt monkey of the entire show.
Kind of is.
I love him.
He's a good boy, but he's kind of the butt monkey. And I'm not gonna lie, the part where he falls into the pits of centipedes, Ian Sinclair screams like a little girl.
It's great.
And it's kind of the best. But no, I really like that Joel is Jeha. And Jeha wasn't originally my favorite character. In fact, my original favorite character in this was Jenna. But as I thought more, I was like, wow, I really like Jeha's character arc, especially when you get to the manga and you deal with a lot of his insecurities. Because they don't bring it up as much as they do the other dragons in the past. You kind of get a glimpse of it, but yeah, like, apparently the old green dragon used to lock baby Jeha up and chain him to a rock.
No, Gigi, no.
Can you do that to me
No.
instead?
No!
God.
Dragon, damn it.
It's itchy to do that. But no, the thing I like about, and this is another case where I think that going against what you think works, is I like that Joel is doing a pretty boy older voice, because it's not a voice you get to hear out of Joel McDonald a lot, and I think he does a great job at it. And at the same time, I think Geeta lets some of the better elements of Ian Sinclair's comedic acting come out, while still allowing him to have those moments of seriousness that I've come to enjoy in dramatic Ian Sinclair performances. I think that all of the dragons are very well casted. It's unfortunate that from here on out, this is where I have all the casting problems.
Oh boy.
This is where, after the dragons is where, okay, after the dragons excluding one character is where I kind of have a lot more casting issues, so after this, like, the Kid Globes might come off a little bit.
Go pop your popcorn, children.
If you think that Gigi's Jason LeBrecq Salt Train was hard, oh baby, you have not seen Salty yet.
Oh god, here we go. So
Let Gigi go next.
Did you want to go next, Gigi?
Yeah, let me just talk about this real quick. And by real quick, I mean not so quick, because we got to talk about Ian Sinclair, but chill. Homies, chill. So, like what with Megan said, with Jeha being played by Junichi Suwabe, I wrote down, at first I thought that it should have swapped with Ian. I was like, why is Ian not playing the slutty one? Ian does a good slutty. I didn't know Junichi Suwabe played. I never got to Jeha in the Japanese. So this is the first time I've ever seen him or heard him. And I was like, wow, if they would have swapped, I could see it. But Joel McDonald, damn, he did a really good job. Like, I really liked him here. Like, I don't know. He brought humanity to the slutty character and kept him more grounded. Mm-hmm. So, like, of course, I love Geeta, because Geeta, but
do you like the parts where he, like, hits on the grandma?
Oh my god, the parts where he hits on everyone. My favorite parts are the parts where he hits on Hawk. And then the parts...
Jiha's also a masochist, by the way.
He rips his clothes off and he's like, hurt me, and I'm like...
Yes. He's a masochist too, and it's great.
I love.
Oh, so that's what pervert means.
Pirates just tell him to stop streaming. Oh, that was beautiful.
That's like another one of my favorite lines in the show.
One of my favorite lines in the show. Keep it in your pants.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
no.
I'm assuming that was not in the Japanese.
God, I don't know, but I fucking love Jeha. I love this character, and I like. At first, I was like, oh, Ian, but then I was like, you know what? Ian would have been straight up ham, and like Juhl brings like some humanity to this character, which wouldn't have had it otherwise. Because even with Junichi Suabe, he is straight up sex, so it's hard for Junichi Suabe to do humanity sometimes. So I'm glad that's the way that it went. And as for Geeta, my Ian,
Dragon.
This
just Gigi
Not a
really.
Valentine's Day episode unless we talk about Ian and then Gigi splooshes.
Gigi just wants to get her
I didn't
hands on
talk about-
those Dragon Balls.
Oh my god. That arm though. That big arm. Yes.
God damn
All
it.
the better for fingering.
God damn it. So
No, ow, God, that hurts just to
yeah,
think
that
about.
hurts.
Just clip
That
it.
would
Put,
hurt.
get the nail covers from Devil's Slot.
You need to make dragon-sized versions of them.
If they can work for devils, they can work for dragons.
You need to make
Oh.
dragon versions of them, though.
My
He's got a look. He's got a normal hand.
my boyfriend's
does
gonna
have a
dump
normal-
me. Nobody wants to play with the normal hand.
No.
Anyway, moving on.
So it was really nice that Ian could be kind of princely here. I love it when Ian is princely because it means he's super adorable. And this seems like his normal voice. It sounds exactly like his character in MMO Junkie, which I loved his character in MMO Junkie, Koiwai, which is basically
Koiwai, the
Ian
best boy.
Sinclair. He is best boy. It's basically just Ian Sinclair being Ian Sinclair. And this is like Ian Sinclair being Ian Sinclair, but with a prince and a big yaoi hand. So I really liked it. Shinha, Eric Vale, such a soft voice for an intimidating character. But you know what? It works because he has to hide his power all the time. He has to hide his eyes all the time. He has to hide his face. So like
My brand.
I think the soft voice works for him, even though he seems very intimidating on the inside. He's just a sweet little cinnamon roll. What up, Alejandro Saab? There's your shout out. You're not even in this show.
Yes, he is actually.
Really?
Yes, he is a background character in one of the episodes. I found out.
Nice.
All right. Well, I stand corrected. There you go. And finally, Geno. I feel that if Geno were maybe in some more episodes, I could have given him more than what I'm going to give him now. As it is, I didn't recognize that it was Josh Greeley, which is like the thing where he played the lizard dude in Mononokean, and I didn't recognize that it was Josh Greeley. The southern accent went on in and out again. That annoyed the shit out of me.
Really? I
Yep.
didn't catch that.
There's a southern accent in the when he first starts talking, he has a southern accent. Annoyed the shit out of me. There was no time to develop this character, so I'm going to give it a pass and say that maybe there was something down the line that could maybe happen if we were to get a second season. But when he was in game mode, that was good Geno. Hated Geno when he was like the carefree, air quotes, whatever the
Hippie.
fuck he was trying to do. Yeah. But when Geno was in game mode, that was Geno in game mode. And he did not have that southern accent. So I believe that it was a choice to give him the southern accent. So bugged the shit out of me. Hated it.
Okay.
But that was all I have to say about my dragons. I love Geeta. I wish Geeta were mine forever. I would keep him in a cage and he would like it. That is the end of my TED Talk.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I don't even know how to give a TED Talk.
That's okay. Now you're doing
what?
most of the people who give TED Talks.
Noah,
All right then.
Noah, did you want to go next or do you want to go last?
I don't think my thoughts are as profound, so I'll go before you if that's okay.
That's fine.
I just wanted to say that I think it was really impressive that we finally got the big dragon crossover movie. Like, after they made individual movies for all four of these dragons that Marvel put out, and then we had that spin-off that movie with
shut
just
your
the
mouth.
squirrel. I thought it was really great that they got them all into one
damn
movie.
it.
This was the Avengers of the Dragon movies that we all got together.
Stop it.
I'm sorry, it's what I felt like. What's that? I forget what the one movie is where Gary Oldman is like, "Bring me everyone." What do you mean everyone? Everyone!
Damn it.
Is it Dragonheart with Sean Connery?
No, it's like I don't even remember what it's called. I just know the clip is with Gary Oldman.
Anyway, your thoughts on the performances, Noah?
Shinha by Eric Vale does not get as much to say, and I get the feeling that I'm wondering like how much they had to bring Eric Vale in for like just breath noises to fill in the tiny little bits that he does speak. But when we do get to hear him, when we get his focus episodes, Eric Vale did a good job. He's a character that is in direct contrast to Gija because, you know, he's being ostracized by his own people. And it's got the best build-up, I think. Like, even without any voice acting, there's a whole lot of, like, you feel sorry for the guy. It's probably why he's the story that I wish was more fleshed out just a little bit more. But, you know, he fills the role that he's got in there, and I don't have any problems with the way that Eric Vale provided the voice on that one. Same thing with Josh Greeley. Josh just has this likable voice. Like, he's just a likable, normal speaking voice in general, and that's probably the entire reason why there's any charm in his performance for that one episode that we get there. Got no problems with that at all. I know that plenty of people had problems with the fact that he only shows up in the last episode, and the show itself even calls out the fact that does it seem a little too easy? We're just dumping the character in without having to go see him in the very last episode. But yeah, for those two,
I think it's implied, like, in the manga though, that he's been following them around the whole time.
I was wondering,
Wait, what?
like, when everyone was saying that he wasn't in the show very much, I was gonna joke, no, he's been there the whole time.
I think that is the joke.
I mean, if there was anyone on staff who had some real balls, they would, like, pencil him into the backgrounds of every episode, and it would be a Where's Waldo throughout the entire series.
That would be fun.
But I don't think they did that.
Fucking funny.
But so for those two characters, I just want to say, actually, I like what they did. But in contrast, though, all four of these characters don't really... They're not distinct enough from one another, I don't think, in terms of the way that they speak. And I think I know the reason for that. Like, when we have an ensemble cast, I like when there's differences between the voices, and not just the way they speak, but also the way they sound. And all four of these kind of sound very similar to me. And I think the reason for that was, this is a pick your own flavor kind of cast. It's the girls are going to like one of these four dragons. Maybe not all four, but they will like at least one of them. So
it's like sort of an Otome protag, but not an Otome protag.
Right.
This is a straight up shoujo. This is a reverse harem.
This is a reverse
This is
harem.
a legitimate reverse harem.
Right. So with the four dragons, you've got different variations of the same build, kind of. You have the same tenor voice with not a whole lot of gruffness to them. Like, they're not old men. They're young men. So Ian Sinclair's Gija is the one who's been brought up to be like a prince or like a god throughout his entire life. So for that, his speech pattern is much more royal. He's got this more princely royal proclamation kind of voice to him that, you know, contrasts with the other voices pretty well. And it keeps him calm, cool, and collected, even when he's, like, going out against Hawk and how he gets pissed off about being called Whitesnake all the time, which, you idiot, that was a compliment. I would kill to be called Whitesnake. Thank you very much. So his dynamic, I guess, is well performed. And I didn't even think at all about the difference of Ian Sinclair being better fitted to be Jeha, because he just fit really well as Gija's character. I think the way that they were all introduced was pretty natural, so I had no problems with that. I do think, though, that Jeha by Joel McDonald was the most fun, just because he's got that carefree, devil-may-care slut man attitude to him that, come on, how many of us don't find that kind of appealing? Even speaking as the token hetero boy of the group, that...
Da-da-da-da-da-da, slut man.
I love the slutty one.
There was an entire scene...
I also love the slut in this show.
Well, he loves you, too.
Jeha is my favorite slutty anime character.
I like the fact that I don't know if this was intentional. I don't know if this was intentionally cribbed from another material, but they reference that he can not fly, but he can jump really good. Almost to the point that it feels like he's flying, which reminds me a whole lot of the original character of Superman, who could not fly. He could only jump over large buildings. There's even an exact shot, which I screen capped and put in the chat, that shows him having a Superman carrying Lois Lane situation with Yona. I'm like, DC copyright lawyers are gonna get you for that.
Don't worry, they're too busy fucking up live action movies.
That they are. But as for Joel's performance,
Savage.
I like Joel's performance. Like, it's really well acted. Even if the voice, I don't think quite fits. Like, I don't think it's sexual enough. I do think the acting is pretty pitch perfect. He's got this, like I said, carefree attitude that is not very gruff. It's more playboyish, and it's the kind of take me away on your adventure kind of voice that fits really well with his persona.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm not going to pick a favorite out of here, but they're all good boys, and I hope that they I hope they find the Dragon Balls that they've been searching for.
Damn it. Wrong show. I'm gonna pick a favorite. His name is Shinha. I still love the Blue Dragon. Blue Dragon is best dragon.
You're here for the Blue Eyes White Dragon?
I am here for the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Where is Seto
The white dragon has green eyes. Thanks.
He has gold eyes, actually. Oh, wait, no. Wait, fuck.
I'm here for your super rare, fudgy, ultra significant blue dragon.
God damn it.
No. Remember, the Blue Eyes White Dragon exists only in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
But we don't lewd the white dragon from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
And you don't lose Shinna either.
It's true, you
Who
don't
says?
lose Shinna.
Well,
Who
But
says?
there's a perfectly good J.
there are 20 pages of Yona fanfic dojin out here that perfectly contradicts that.
Wait, you found actual Yona Dojin you didn't tell me? I've been looking for years.
I feel like he's just making this shit up as he goes.
No,
actually.
it's right here. It's right here on the Catholic website, right here. You know.
He's definitely making this.
Fuck you, asshole.
Anyway. Anyway.
Catholics
I would
are into
totally-
some
let's
kinky
be-
shit, let me tell you.
Duh.
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 This is gonna
I don't
I like
look here.
how all three of the girls are like, duh. Shit. Anyway.
I've watched 7 Mortal Sins.
Anyway, so
Christ.
my thoughts on these dragons. I'm gonna start with Geno. Geno doesn't get to do a lot, which really sucks because Geno is actually a really interesting character. When you read the manga, he's a very, very interesting character, all things considered. And I love Josh's Geno. Like he has the two-face attitude to him. He has the goofy side. It's just like, I like food. I'm so hungry. Like la-di-da-di-da. But then, like Gigi was saying before, like when he gets his game on, he gets his game on. Like
Game on.
shit. And I do enjoy it a lot. The only downside is, of course, again, we only have Geno in one episode, and that's it. So we don't have much time to spend with Josh as Geno. But we do have a lot of time with the other three. Though in Shinha's case, Eric Vale, there's a reason why I mentioned Fruits Basket Hitalia and to an extent Noragami. Because for a while, it had been a while since Eric has played the more soft-spoken characters. Which, of course, Shinha is a soft-spoken character. And I really appreciate them putting Eric into this role. Because Shinha is just such a doofy, adorable little sheltered little kid. And it's so cute. Like, you don't loot... There's a reason why you don't loot the blue dragon. But he is also one of the more tragic stories, too, because of his upbringing. Because his village where he grew up feared the blue dragon. And the upbringing he has and what we learn about his story is just very gut-wrenching. Which... It was Brittany Karbowski, right?
Yes, it was Brittany Karbowski.
To which
Baby
Brittany
Shinha.
Karbowski was spot on as baby Shinha. But Eric is just so adorable and soft-spoken, and I just enjoy it so much. He's scared and gentle, and it's one of the few times that we see him play this kind of character. And on those rare occasions where we do see him play this kind of character, it's always a nice welcome change from the asshole or the womanizing guy that we usually associate Eric Vale performances with. So I appreciate that a lot. Ian as Geisha is just a bumbling idiot, but he has a ton of energy, and I appreciate that. Which brings a fun dynamic and a fun burst of energy to it. He is the butt of the joke. Geisha is the butt of the joke the majority of the fucking time. But considering the kind of upbringing that Geisha has, because in his village, the white dragon is revered, almost to like a godlike level.
All
So
of
it
the
makes-
women want his dragon dick.
It's
Mine, back off.
it's true. But Yeah, like, there's a lot of energy and just goofiness to the character. I appreciate that a lot. The strangest and probably one of the more riskier casting choices is Joel McDonald as Geeta, though. Because you don't normally associate Joel McDonald with this kind of character. At all. And I really love it. It's a very fun change. I didn't even write any notes on Joel. That is... Oh, no, I did. The womanizing... I thought I didn't.
No, this is entirely the same as his character from Space Dandy. I think it's very similar. So I don't know what you're saying when you say this is different.
Meow is not that much of a womanizing pervert.
Were we watching the same show?
It's also been a hot minute since I've seen Space Dandy. But to be fair, though, even if Geeta and Meow are in the same category, again, look at all the other characters that he's been. Very different.
Meow is also a lot more casual sounding than Geeta.
Yeah, that too. Like, the womanizing pervert is not typically the kind of character that you would normally see Joel play.
No, like even if you put him in, he's the lead Ray in Seki Ray as well, which is a show which begs to be a womanizer, but no, he's not in that show.
But the point is, it's definitely a lot of fun because Geeta is a womanizer, a pervert, a masochist, probably bisexual, more than likely bisexual.
Hell yeah!
Like, he's a bunch of these things rolled into this one character, like a bunch of these different tropes rolled into one, and to be able to balance all of that and still have his own morals and his own goals in life, because Geeta doesn't want to be tied down to his fate. He doesn't want to be associated with the 4 Dragon Warriors at all. Like, he just wants to live his own life. So to have all of these tropes mixed in here, plus the morals and his own viewpoint on life mixed in here to give him, like who was saying it? He's more human. Was it Gigi?
Yes, that was me.
Yeah, he gives him it was kind of humanized him in a way, which is makes it much more complex for a character. So I really appreciate that Joel is able to take a character trope that he normally doesn't really play and make it not only more human, but keep the complexities handles the complexities of Geeta's character actually rather well, in my honest opinion. I'd say out of the 4 dragons, while Shinhai is best dragon to me, Geeta is actually probably my favorite performance of the 4, because of all of these moving pieces into this and personalities into this one character that Joel has to portray, and I really, really appreciate that.
He does. He gets the most fun arc. That's standalone arcs. Like you get
like compared to all the other dragons, Geeta's arc is probably the longest compared to all of them.
We're gonna go bust a human trafficking ring.
Hell yeah! Are we ready to move on?
Oh my god, I'm so excited to make the joke I've been sitting on for the last 5 fucking years.
Oh, no.
I think we better pop this balloon.
God damn it. Alright, so our final 4 characters, we're gonna try and go through them individually if possible. If we run into time...
Please also let me go first for this segment.
If we run into time issues, we'll put 2 of them together. I know which 2 it'll be. But first, we're going to talk about the beautiful Bishonen boy genius. We have Yoon, one of the few human main characters we have in the show. Yoon,
the most normal human being in the entire fucking show.
Yes. Yoon is a very interesting character. I like Yoon. He's probably one of my favorite characters in the entire show anyway. He's a self-proclaimed beautiful boy genius, who knows how to cook. He knows how to take care, like medicines, and he's very knowledgeable, like more street smarts. But he wants. Can
I do his introduction to Granny?
What?
Boy, what can you do? Well, I am beautiful. I can cook, clean, make medicine. I'm really good with explosives.
Yep, that's basically how he introduces.
But I'm a pacifist, so I don't fight people.
Yeah. And Yoon's character goes through a lot of developments throughout the show too, because he is technically a very sheltered individual as well. Until Iksu is like, "Hey Yona, you want to take this kid with you? Like, take it with you. See the
Please take my
world.
15-year-old son out of the house. He knows nothing.
He knows nothing of this world.
He thinks Naruto's in Kingdom Hearts.
Fuck. Anyway, the individual voicing this character as the voice of Yoon, it is our ADR director, Mr. Clifford Chapin, who has been in series such as Attack on Titan, Legend of the Galactic Heroes de Noitese, and people are either going to murder me or applaud me for this. He's also in Gangsta.
Can I please go first?
You go ahead.
Oh boy. Oh god. First of all, I'd like to repeat one of my actual favorite lines that Yoon says in the entire show. Which is, well, I am more attractive than the average female. I mean, look at me.
Yes.
Yep.
Also one of my other favorite ones. Hey Yoon, what's up? My blood pressure, that's what!
Yoon is so sarcastic and snarky.
Yoon is a
it's great.
sassy little bitch.
He's sassy. I love
Yoon is
it.
a sassy little bitch. Remember the issue I had earlier in this episode, which feels like an eternity ago, about them not being consistent about female actresses playing younger versions of their characters? Guess where it fucking is?
It couldn't be with this character.
Angry.
It's fucking Yoon, and it bothers the living shit out of me. And this is this. In other shows where Clifford Chapin usually plays an adult character, here's the thing. I like that you actually brought up Legend of the Galactic Heroes de Noitese. Because guess what? When his character shows up as a younger version of themselves, they are played by Caitlin Glass, who, by the way, is a lady. Every other character in this show that is a male that has a younger version of them show up and that character opens their fucking mouth. Except for Teenage Hawk. But then again, he was actually in the range where that where the character models were, that's where they would be starting to be played by male. Hell, even, baby Mccallum's character as a little boy is played by a woman. They don't make they make Cliff play Ultra Baby Yoon. And it's rough. It is, pushing his range, and it feels as uncomfortable as it feels as uncomfortable as it probably
Now,
was.
for context, you're talking about in the scenes where he is basically a starving urchin, and you've got this
Yes.
dramatic, I need to steal to survive with this super high squeaky voice.
Yes, and it is kind of painful to listen to. And again, I don't think Clifford's a bad actor. I do think that his Yoon is a little rough sometimes, because, look here, I get that Yoon is 15, I really do. But Yoon isn't built like Bakugo. And when Yoon yells, guess where it immediately goes to? Bakugo.
I have to disagree. It didn't come off as like that to me.
It came off as a softer Bakugo to me. Again, this is my own personal opinion.
Right.
I actually don't think that Clifford's Yoon is bad unless it's, I have a lot of issues with him being made to play, child Yoon.
Well, I get that.
I think that that should have been, for the sake of not only consistency, it should have been a female actor. Unless it's somebody I'm trying to think of another actor who's played an ultra young version of themselves, but I can't think of another male actor
male actors.
not even when Micah was Ame in The Wolf Children. It was a different person. I honestly don't remember anybody else going that far.
I mean, Micah did play baby
did for you
in Seraph.
Yeah, it was only in Seraph at the end where I think that it kind of worked a little bit, but even then, I don't know how much behind the scenes work was done on that one. That's the one that I was thinking of, and even then, looking back on it now, it's a little rough too.
See, I could forgive this situation if it was a one scene flashback, but it goes on for an entire episode, pretty much.
And here's the thing with Seraph at the end, it goes on a couple of times in there too, so... But you haven't watched that show yet.
We still need to subject him to it.
Large caveat on that. Like I said, I don't think Clifford Chapin's a bad Yoon. I do think that for my own tastes, I think he's not the strongest performance in the show. I think that he is a little bit outshined by the other dragons. I would say out of the four individual characters that we're talking about, he's probably the number 3 on the scale of, all right, if you had to pick out of these 4 characters, who's your who do you think is the best performance? He's number 3.
But let's be honest here. If we're playing Marry, Fuck, Kill with Yoon, everyone would pick Marry.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Every one of you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Everyone would marry you.
I would
Everyone's
not
mar-
pick Yoon to marry.
Okay.
What?
Out of the dragons, Yoon, Yona, and Shina,
You mean
who
Suwon?
you marry? No one's marrying
No.
Suwon. We're killing him.
Talking about.
No, but you said Shina. You said, like, you and the 4 dragons, Yona, Shina. I'm like, wait a second, hold on.
You only get 3 choices in Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Okay, fine. If you get fuck, marry, kill out of Hawk, Yona, and Yoon, who you do? Who you kill? Who you
What
marry?
do you mean you only get 3
Why
of the
is
pick?
Yona in there?
Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Never mind.
Anyway.
Anyway, I like I said, I don't think that Clip's a bad Yoon. I really don't. I think that there are times where it pushes on being a little bit uncomfortable for me to listen to, and like I said, I am really severely disappointed from a direction standpoint that they wouldn't have a female actor come in to play younger Yoon, especially when a lot of the actors that usually do little boy characters are kind of kicking around in this show. I mean, hi, Lindsay Seidel's in this show. Hello, Ryan Reynolds is in the show. Try to think of some of the other female voices that I think I heard Morgan Berry around at one point. Like it's not like the option's not there, guys. Like I understand with and I can't even say like with the simuldub parameter because this episode's not in the simuldub half of the show.
Yeah, that's the thing. This part was recorded after the fact.
After words. So it's like you guys had the time. And look, I understand Clifford's a talented actor. Like I said, it is just kind of a choice I don't like. It's a choice I don't like. I don't agree with it. As a fan, I'm kind of very, very baffled, especially when you did it for every other character that's a younger male character that speaks. Of the main cast, like Baby Shina's got somebody. I don't think Baby Geeta talks, so Baby J-Ha didn't talk. We don't see Baby Jeno. But like Baby Suwon has a different voice. Like I said, Baby Hawk and Teenage Hawk have like 2 different voices, so it's just very much like a what the fuck, y'all. I know that sounds very crude and very crass, but it is a serious what the hell.
Okay. Alright.
I think the older performance is good, and I think that he gets the sarcasm across. And I think he does do a falsetto girl voice pretty decent.
Thank you. I was going to pull in the part about that because can I go next on this? Because I've got
go ahead.
Yoon. I love Yoon. I love Yoon not just as a person, not just a voice, but just as an entity into the existence of the show. Because I have not seen a shoujo show like this that has a character like Yoon in it. Because Yoon's portrayal as a male character who is not a fighter, can do the things that women can do, in any other show, in a lesser show, would be played off as like a girl, basically. Like, he would be, like, everyone would treat him like a girl, he would be portrayed as a girl, and the show would probably cast him to be voiced by a girl.
I think he is voiced by a woman in Japan.
Really?
That was gonna be my point. The Seiyu is female, so that is a very big challenge that he has to overcome because of it.
Yeah, he does. And I like the fact that the show is actually, for a couple of scenes, especially with the pirate scenes, the show seems to be very bi-gay friendly in just the sense that they're not mocking anyone who says that Yoon would be a good wife to them. They actually are kind of like
one of the guys like openly asks to marry him. I think.
Yes.
And it doesn't like maybe it's just the dub made it more soft than it was in the Japanese, but it sounds much more like no, this is actually like okay, we treat this as legitimate as a male-female relationship. But the parts where Yoon is like in the flashback scene where we're seeing his upbringing, where he first meets Iksu, and they're both starving because Iksu is a dumbass who gives away all of his possessions. That really didn't bug me too much. Like it struck a nerve with me in just the sense that I noticed it and I thought, okay, they're not using a female actor. That's interesting. But there was enough there was enough gravity in the scene that it wasn't the first thing on my mind. The first thing on my mind was, if you're going to cut away from the main focus of the show, which is Yona, this is a good way to indicate how bad things are getting in the kingdom, which is the whole reason for that backstory. Because the kingdom under Il is getting pretty downtrodden because he's very passive. The king is passive. So it was a good flashback for that. And Clifford Chapin's performance is great all around. Even if the voice doesn't quite fit, he gets the sarcasm portions, he gets the serious portions, he gets that he is such a goddamn tsundere. That's the first thing I wrote in the chat when I started brought to like, holy shit, Clifford Yoon is a tsundere.
Like if it's not clear by like, even though like I did have a lot of problems with it, like I do think that as an actor that he gets a lot of that point across. I'm just like, at times I'm just like, okay, just a little bit too like not what I was expecting and stuff.
Right.
Also, because I had to look up who his Seiyu was, I found out, Gigi, if you're gonna probably find this really interesting, is that in the Japanese version of Sailor Moon Crystal, Yoon is played by Sailor Uranus.
Huh.
I like it.
So
I like it a lot.
But yeah, Clifford Chapin's got he had the most to work with of all of the main characters, just because he's such a different entity in any kind of show I've seen. He's not played for jokes, for knowing things that quote unquote women are supposed to know, and he's not made to seem less masculine because of that, because he does some pretty masculine things. You know, he sets off the he smuggles in the firework that they use to tip off where the pirates are keeping the girls. He's the one who cures everyone. He does all the cooking. Like, this is a kind of guy who is like more masculine than some of the other men out there. So if you want to know how to be a man, take notes from Yoon in this show.
Also, looking it up, Yoon is the only person of the male characters, just like in the English, that doesn't have a female come play him for the younger version.
Okay.
So that is consistent across languages.
Yeah.
Which would
So
make
I can
sense
understand if
because
they
had a female voice already.
Female actor, yeah. So like, I can understand them keeping it for consistency, but here's the thing: they used the female actor for Yoon. That's why it can make sense.
It doesn't bug me too much. Like, I can get over some things. This is one of the things where I could get over just because Clifford's acting in it was just so pitch perfect to both the comedy and the serious moments throughout.
Okay.
I think as older Yoon, but younger Yoon, it's just the tone where I feel like he's pushing it so far that it's a little bit hard to listen to.
I guess I have a little levity when it comes to anime voice acting like that, just because I'm used to it in some instances. I mean, okay, I'm used to there being female voice actors taking over when they're younger, and it's such a contrast to me. I think it's so much of a contrast that if you aren't used to it, then you'll feel like you're maybe watching a different show entirely. So my brain is wired to allow for that kind of disconnect. Like, you're not going to get, because you're not going to get child actors. You're just not going to get child actors to do that.
Yeah, and I understand that. Here's the thing. That's why another thing as a director, I think you have to pick an actress that matches up to the older version of the character that you're playing. Like, if you have the time to sit and cast and do that, I think you do it. That's like one of the biggest things I think I went on to praise in the Legend of the Galactic Heroes dub that Funimation did, is that I felt like for all of the younger versions of the characters that transitioned to the older versions of the characters, they did a really good job selecting actors that perfectly matched into the older versions of them.
Fair.
Like, I don't mean to be argumentative towards it. I'm just saying, like, this is how I feel.
I'm sure
and this is why
I'm sure there are listeners out there who are on your side, and there are ones who are on my side, and then there's ones in the middle who are just like, get on with it!
Sorry, guys.
Gigi, did you want to go next, or you want me to go next?
I don't even remember that Cliff was a little boy in this, so
Potatoes.
there you go. Yeah, okay. This is how much. Yeah. Anyway, I love soft Cliff Chapin. I love him here more than I love him as Bakugo, and I fucking love Bakugo. So that's what I'm saying about that. Yoon is an adorable little prince. I like Yoon, but his girl voice is terrible. Like, it was just bad. Like, and I think it could have been a choice to make it that bad, just so, like, clearly the dude who's trying to hire Yoon as a girl for human trafficking is just a fucking idiot. Because, I mean, yeah, cute and all, but, like, that voice was not a girl voice. But, you know, that's a choice, too. I don't remember Baby Yoon at all, so I love soft Cliff, though. I would like to hear Cliff do more soft things like this and Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I feel bad. I feel that sometimes his vocal cords might be shredding slightly from having to yell all the time as Bakugo. But I like him here as soft Cliff.
Yoon has got no chill.
So
soft. Rub.
This is not Royal Tutor, guys. It's okay, though. We'll make it work. That all you have?
Yeah, dude, I was falling asleep, so...
Well, let's wait. Okay, Gigi. Okay, think about this. Think about half-naked dragons doing a pole dance.
Ew.
Think of your boyfriend serving you a platter of chocolate-covered strawberries in a tuxedo.
Better.
Okay. There
With
we go.
sexy back playing in the background.
And then done.
And
Okay.
and a smoke machine.
Oh my.
Now this is a fantasy she's gonna be dreaming about tonight. Good job.
Hold
buddy.
on, I gotta send a DM. Talk amongst yourselves.
To your boy.
You gotta let us know what he says after too, actually. Okay.
All
Anyway,
right.
So I guess that leaves me. Here's my thing. There's actually there's a reason why I brought up the credit of Mccallum from Gangsta for Cliff on this one. If
To hurt people?
again, you either like the performance in Gangsta or you absolutely hate it. But here's the thing. If anybody in this show is going to be testing their range in all shapes and sizes, it's gonna be Cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has the baby voice. He has regular voice. He has the female voice. He is the one actor in this show that has to just be very flexible with his range. And I do applaud him for that. It's not an easy thing to do. Like, I have to give him some credit on this one. Because, I mean, Noah, can you even imagine yourself successfully playing a younger version of yourself?
Honestly, yes, kind of. I'm okay, because you know my normal... I know I'm poking holes in your theory here, but not convincingly. Not convincing. Like that.
There we go.
Like when we did the disclaimer for the Wolf Children movie, I knew I wanted a younger voice, and I knew that I could not do that. So I'm like, I need to get my mini-me to do this instead.
There you go. So you kind of get what I'm saying. So it's not an easy thing to do. And considering Megan already brought up, one, it's a female Seiyu who voices Yoon. Two, the female Seiyu voices every aspect of it too. So more than likely this is a consistency choice here, which, if that's the way they're going, perfectly fine.
Sometimes you have to break from the Japanese!
I know. I'm aware. I'm just saying, for a consistency choice, I understand. And because of that, I have to at least applaud Cliff for the effort put into this and the vast amount of range he has to put into this. Now,
I feel like after you all go, I need to go again.
now, here's the thing. Does it work the entire time? No. Like, as someone who really loves this character, this is probably my favorite character in the entire fucking show. And I love Cliff to death in this role. It doesn't 100% work because of the moments in the flashbacks where... See, I didn't have a consistent problem with Baby Yoon. It's not consistent, but there were moments where I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh no, please don't kill your voice. Please don't do it. Like, there were moments where it seemed like it was trying to reach too far, and it didn't come off that strong. There were moments where I felt that, and it just made me fear for his voice instead. When it gets to that point, then I'm like, oh no, sweetie, no, please don't do this to yourself. But I do appreciate, like, the effort that he put in there for the vast amount of range that Yoon has in this show. And despite Gigi not thinking he can pass as a girl, I actually think it worked. I think it worked pretty well. I think it was pretty good. Could he completely pass as a girl? Probably not.
Hell no.
But given the circumstances, I think it works. It's manageable, I would definitely say. Obviously that's the whole point, is Yoon's in disguise, obviously. And again, with the weird conundrum of having a female Seiyu as Yoon doesn't help things at all. But given what Cliff has in the show and the vast amount of range that he does put on display, I applaud him for that. It's not 100% successful and doesn't 100% come off that way, but one, I appreciate the immense amount of effort, because he's the only one who has to expand his range like this in the entire show. And two, Yoon is sassy as a motherfucking asshole, and I love it. Yoon is a sassy little bitch.
I am a beautiful boy genius.
He is a beautiful... Clifford Chapin is a beautiful boy genius and is a sassy motherfucker, and I appreciate it.
I wish that he had like that. Okay, in the old Wile E. Coyote cartoons, the Coyote would come out with a business card that said, Wile E. Coyote, certified genius. I want Yoon to have something like that.
Oh my god, please do.
And to add on to Steph's point, I do appreciate that Cliff did have the ability to get across a lot of the stuff that he had to get across while having to put it in range.
Yes.
Like, this is not me trying to be a dick for the sake of being a dick, guys. It's which is weird, because I think, somebody once came into Chet's DMs and said, oh, you guys are never negative on this show.
It's like, are you kidding?
Bitch, we have a long list.
Have you watched the free episode?
We have a long list of negatives here. No, it's basically, as a casual, putting it this way, casual me watching the show, absolutely love the performance. Critical me, there are pieces that just seem like it's reaching.
Thank you.
Critical side of me, the performance, especially the younger version, does reach too far, and I don't think it comes off very well at times.
Okay, good, thank you, because I was like, I sound like such an asshole.
No. I can see both sides of it. Again, I love Yoon as a character. He's my favorite character in the show. I love Cliff's performance in it. It's one of my favorite performances. But from a critical standpoint, I do have to point out that it can be a little rough on the younger version, and it can get to a point where it seems like it's reaching too far. To a point where it's again, if I have to be concerned, oh, sweetie, please don't lose your voice, that's where I think it goes too far. You know what I mean?
But he is still a good boy.
He is.
He's a very
Yoon
good
is
boy.
best boy.
Yeah. You get I really do get the impression that the mangaka really liked this character more than any of the other characters that he wrote.
I actually am half tempted, after rewatching the show, to cosplay, a gender swap cosplay of Yoon.
No.
And now from best boy to worst boy.
You have got to get Andrew to cosplay as Yoon. You have got to get... I will pay for that. I will commission that.
He's twinky enough to do it.
I will.
There you go.
He has to shave, though.
Anyway, from now...
Wait, hold on, guys.
Now,
before you move on, you said you wanted to hear the answer to this GM.
Yes.
And it's exactly how I want to treat you. Be your loyal, fabulous servant and feed you all manners of delight.
Oh, baby.
My.
You hit
Happy Valentine's Day to me, bitches.
You hit the jackpot.
Ooh, baby.
I really did.
Yes, you did.
For my Valentine's Day, my boyfriend and I will probably be playing Kingdom Hearts 3 and crying at each other.
My Valentine's Day, I will be at work. I don't know what's going to happen otherwise.
I think I literally DM'd Roots and said, hey, so your birthday's 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. Do you just want to save Valentine's Day from when we're together at AB? So we can be romantic together?
Aww.
And the answer was yes.
Sure, why not?
Anyway.
And my Valentine...
I love you, honey.
See, you all have it easy. You all have it easy because the boys have to do most of the planning for Valentine's Day.
See, look here. Andrew and I never had the conversation about Valentine's Day. I don't even know what the fuck's going on anymore. I'm just kind of me and Valentine's Day, I'm just eh.
Just
all right.
Swerving from best boy to worst boy?
Best boy to worst boy. Let's talk about Suwon.
Murderer!
He's great fun at parties.
Very... Suwon...
Worst Sweet 16 ever.
Best family reunion ever.
God damn it. So
I mean, they are like Alabama. She did want her cousin's dick.
It's true. Suwon is Yona's cousin. They grew up together along with Hawk. Yona develops very strong feeling for Suwon, but Suwon is like, nah, fam, I'm gonna kill your dad and then become king of the country.
Because your dad did bad things to my dad, but my dad was a bad, awful fucking person.
Who was also played by Johnny Bosch.
Johnny Bosch. Which is going to make this section funnier.
So Suwon is voiced by Micah Solasad.
And baby Suwon is voiced by Afi Yu.
Even better. But Micah Solasad...
I'd like to point out that baby Yoon is the smoothest character in the entire show.
You mean baby Suwon?
Yeah, Baby Suwon is fucking smooth.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, Yona. I'll hold your hand all night while we and we can sleep together.
That dude hit
Smooth operator.
hit
Me and
puberty
Yona,
early.
me and Yona have shared a bed all the time.
Anyway, Micah Solasad, you probably heard him in a few things, like Assassination Classroom, Codebreaker, and Yuri on Ice. Who wants to go first?
I vote Gigi so she can keep tearing.
Gigi, you want to go first
Now,
on your thoughts on Micah?
Gigi, we know you have a thing for in shows like this. You have a thing for the asshole characters. Where does this hit you on your scale
damn
of
it.
bangable to kickable? Where does Suwon fit?
Bangable to kickable. Wow, that's the scale.
Is bangable the high number or the low?
Yes.
Oh
High
yes.
Bangable is the
number.
high.
High number. Bangable is at Take Me Daddy As I Am.
Like a 7.
Okay.
So he's at the I'd give him a handy and a blow.
Yeah, basically.
I'm getting Full Metal Jacket flashbacks now. Damn it.
Yeah. So Micah had to toe the line between being a prince and being an evil dick, basically. This character is super complicated, and it's hard. This is a very hard character. It's a very hard line to toe. And by the end, you don't know if you want to still love him or if you want to hate him. And Yona felt that too at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she didn't know what the hell to do. She's like, I could have killed him, but I didn't kill him.
She had 6
and I felt
perfectly hot guys that she could choose from, but no, she's still swinging for the bad boy.
Exactly. You always got to swing for the bad boy. And I was just like,
even if he's your direct cousin.
you know, you can't. If you think of it,
It's hard to
like
get over.
back in this period thing.
I know. I'm just joking.
Okay, I'm just like in this thing. Like it doesn't. It really means nothing.
Paddle faster.
It's a bloodline.
I hear
Tutors.
banjo music. Ding 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 ding.
Yeah,
ding,
yeah,
ding,
yeah,
ding,
yeah,
ding,
yeah,
ding,
yeah.
ding.
It's like the Lannisters.
Yeah.
What?
So, it's a Game of Thrones reference.
Oh.
Anyway.
That's like a.
So.
I've never heard of that show. That's like a gardening show.
Anyway, whatever.
Anyway, stop it and let
So-
you finish.
Through the end of it, I still didn't know whether I loved him or I hated him. Because you know I love the bad boys. But he really was an actual piece of shit. But still, there's like that little piece of you that's like, well, maybe we can still get married. You know, it's that horrible, horrible Stockholm syndrome that I tend to have a lot.
What's a little
Anyway, Mike was-
genocide amongst lovers, right?
God damn
Regicide.
it. Stop it.
So Micah did a really great job, like, towing that line. I thought he was fucking fantastic in this. So, bra fucking vo. Let's keep going, because I really have to go in, like, 20 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, we really.
Oh,
need
shit.
to
I'll go quickly on this one then.
Okay,
So-
go quickly, please.
He's got Suwon. I don't think is a complex character. I think he's just a poorly written character because he's got the conflicting emotions of he's supposed to be like he wants what's best for the kingdom because his uncle screwed it all up, but in doing so, he's doing some pretty awful things. So the way that he's written lends itself to being more of a princely character than a monster. I mean, we see the monster sack in the first episode, but after that, he doesn't really do anything that bad. So the fact that they gave a voice that is Micah Solasad, who's got this flowery, princely kind of voice throughout most of it, is more fitting. If they gave the character a gruffer, rougher, less appealing voice, then it wouldn't fit at all. And the fact that he has the same speech pattern when he's both being funny and lighthearted, and also when he's talking about how serious he is about getting revenge for his father, fits really well with the character. Like, he's not exactly putting on a facade when he's being nice. It's just he's trying to figure out how everyone is working by putting on this face that is a different part of himself. He shows different parts of himself to different types of people. He's a diplomat is what he is. So it's a good fit, even if you hate the character. And Micah's probably the right voice for this more than anyone else they could have put. I'm assuming that they also had a male voice in the Japanese as well.
They did.
So, yeah, for the parts as he's in, which is like a couple episodes in the first half, and then he like disappears throughout the second half, it fits pretty well. I'm sure there's more of the story out there once I get into the manga, but for what we got here, Micah did a very good job.
Awesome. Megan, do you want to go next? Or you want me to go next?
Sure, because I want to punch Suwon into the sun.
I remember that a long time ago. I want to punch him into the space orbit.
Yes, he is played by a gentleman. His name is Yusuke Kobayashi. Oh, he's the lead in ReZero, and he's like Zenji in Food Wars and stuff. But no, I really like Micah as Suwon, and I also really like Afia as baby Suwon. I actually do think Suwon is a complex character, unlike Noah. I like that Micah can very easily switch from being cutesy to an absolute fucking stone cold monster in the drop of a hat. I think that, honestly, I actually think that Mike is my second favorite performance in the show behind Juhl as Jeha. As a Jeha. Fuck,
Jeha.
whatever. Green Dragon. Jeha, damn it. I really want to say more, but I can't at this point in time. I think that the aspect I like the most about Micah is that I feel like if the show was longer, we would get to explore more of the aspect of his psyche, because I think Suwon as a character is very much, he doesn't want to admit it, but he is a little bit like his uncle, where the path to good intent, was it like the path to hell is paved with good intentions? Yep. Except for his intentions starts with regicide, and very traumatic regicide for Yona. And I think, to me, one of my favorite moments in the show is not only the parts of the pretend war where you very clearly show that he is putting on like a huge facade, but it is when Yona runs into him at the port of Awa.
Yes.
And Yona grabs his sword she's gonna straight up kill him in front of his servants. And he just puts his hand over her, and then he's like at the very end, "What were you planning to do? Kill me?"
That part fucking killed me. Just FYI. Fucking dead
like,
in the ground.
Is, like, I'm not gonna lie that, like, you are, I think, supposed to see Suwon as, like, a romantic choice for her still. And I'm not gonna lie, the lighting and the dialogue in that scene is fucking attractive.
You're not wrong.
Like, it's hot.
You're not wrong.
Like, it's shoujo, it's a shoujo bullet. And I think that Micah was, as much as I was very adamantly mad that, like, one of my favorite voice actors was, like, a character I despised so very much, I think Micah is a perfect fit. And, haha, that's gonna be really funny going into the next section, because, oh boy. Go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, I mean, I have to kind of agree on all those fronts. Like, I kept calling Suwon a few times, like, a two-faced character. He really is. Like Megan was saying,
he's like a fox.
Yes, the path to hell is paved with good intentions, and for Micah as Suwon, he plays the nice, lighthearted, fluffy stuff, this facade that he has really well, actually, very, very well. Because Suwon can be a bumbling idiot sometimes, like, not gonna front there, but at the same time, and this is explored a hell of a lot more during the mock battle with Gunte, where it is this facade that he's playing. Like, deep down, he is a very vicious and conniving individual who's going to do what he can to make sure things go his way for the sake of the people of Coca Kingdom. And it's a very interesting duality that Micah does have to portray, and I think he portrays that very, very well. I will say the end where we do see him interact with Yona again is very, 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 very potent. Where he's just like, what were you gonna do? Kill me in front of these people? What were you gonna do then? Like, you really are gonna do this? Like, right now? Seriously? Like, it's a totally... He can be a goober, but he can also be really, really ruthless at times. And I think this duality for Suwon is a very interesting complexity to the character, and I think Micah pulls it off very well. Suwon does, again, having been reading the manga, Suwon, he is a very integral character for a lot of the show too, of the series, of course. And you kind of get to explore a lot more with Suwon. The mock battle is basically like a precursor to an actual fight that Suwon has to get involved in, like in the manga, and it's actually really interesting how that's played out. for him, as well as for the Yona and the Happy Hungry Bunch, as they call themselves. But I really enjoyed Micah's performance as Suwon. It's definitely one of the stronger performances of the entire show, for sure. We got 2 characters left. Are we ready to move on?
Can we just I think we just need to combine these.
You want to just combine the 2 of them for time's sake?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Okay, we're gonna combine our last 2 characters for the sake of time. So we have Princess Yona, the Princess of Koka Kingdom, and we have Sun Hak, her bodyguard, and also known as the Lightning Beast, who's formerly one of the 5 generals for the Wind Clan specifically. And the 2 of them, basically after the death of King Il, just run off, try to survive, and now it's Yona's mission to gather the 4 dragon warriors and then try and figure shit out along the way after that. Like, in the anime, it's not stated, like, what her goal is. What she wants
To put
do.
together
Isn't
the
it to- isn't
sexiest
it to-
harem that anime has ever seen.
No, it is not.
Isn't it just to, like, retake the kingdom?
It's not explicitly stated because it's not...
See, that's what confused me too. 'Cause you would think it's to retake the kingdom, but
You would think
he's not
That's
doing a
also-
bad job.
that's also Zeno. Remember, it's also Zeno saying, like, do you want to just, like, take the throne back? Do you want to, like, kill Suwon? She doesn't know.
She doesn't
In
give
the-
an answer.
He just doesn't give an answer. In the manga, it's more like she's trying to find these injustices throughout the kingdom, because she has an opportunity to try and right these wrongs while not even in the palace.
And we
Like,
also
not
see
having that responsibility.
I think it was in like episode 2 we see like this flash forward to when they're all gathered together and they're fighting off
Yes.
this huge army,
Yep.
and we never find out what the fuck that was all about.
Yeah, because for Yona in the manga, where I am at this point, she's taking it upon herself to do what she can to fix these wrongs that her father created in the kingdom. And she's doing it in a way where she can actually physically be out there and fix these wrongs, rather than being stuck behind palace walls and being as sheltered as she was before.
So it's
And then
basically
Hawk is
Captain
just-
Planet.
Kind of, yeah. And Hawk is just Hawk, who is here, who has a crush on Yona. We all clearly know he does, even if he doesn't fucking realize until halfway through the freaking show. But
You want to talk about
anyway.
perverts? You want to talk about
that's not Jiha.
Anyway.
So the individuals who are voicing these 2 characters, as Son Hak, I'm gonna start there. We have as adult Son Hak, I'm gonna say, because as Megan brought up, there is a character who has 3 voices, and this is the one that has the 3 voices. As Son Hak, we have, for the adult, we have Christopher Sabat, who has been in series such as Full Metal Alchemist, My Hero Academia, and Show I Rock. And as Princess Yona, we have Monica Rial, who has been in series such as Tokyo Ghoul, Drifters, and Okami-san, and her 7 companions. So who wants to go first talking about these 2 characters?
Can I go last, please?
So let's go with Noah.
Yay! Okay. Well now, this is well, this is really mean of me. This is very mean of me, but when I first started watching this and I got to Yona, my first comment in purple ink I wrote, "Who let the squirrel out of her cage?" Because the very first sound is her talking about is her complaining about her hair not being manageable, and it's this intentionally higher shriek of a voice that is not entirely reflective of who Yona becomes. But Monica Rial does have this distinctly higher voice that fits well with this character because she starts out being a spoiled princess in like the most spoiled sense of the word. But throughout the entire show, Monica does a good job of portraying the change of the character. She goes from shelter princess to essentially a Robin Hood type character.
Yes.
Without losing the voice, though. She's got that, she's got kind of like a super normal voice that just sounds really youthful, is the idea I'm getting out of Monica. She wasn't trying to make a super high-pitched voice that's annoying. She was trying to make a young-sounding character, because she just turned 16 years old, and she's got a lot of pep, a lot of energy, that gets amped up a lot more in the comedy segments of it, and I had to ask myself, does it fit? Yes, because it's a quick way to establish her naivete and lack of maturity at the beginning that gets fleshed out a lot more throughout the entire show. So, and that's why Monica is the best, and that is why she has over I forget how many voice acting credits on her
A
resume.
lot.
It's more than God. Speaking of God, Chris Sabat.
God. How did that fucking transition? I don't know.
Well, Chris Sabat's kind of like a god in and of himself, but this is a show where we don't really we get Chris' voice. It's got the same bass, but it doesn't have any rumble to it. He keeps the same low register without growling, which is the kind of voice you hear in his Armstrong voice, his All Might voice, his Dragon Ball. He's in Dragon Ball Z, right?
Yes.
Yes, he's very much in Dragon
Maybe
Ball
it's a little
Z.
indie show you may have heard of before called Dragon Ball Z. I don't know, but it's
Didn't they just get like some movie or something?
we're getting more Dragon Ball Super, I think.
Anyway, I'm joking.
No, I don't think any of our listeners actually watch Dragon Ball, so it's good that we established that. So, anyways, yeah, Chris Sabat's he's played really straight in the sense that Yona's got more of a manic energy, even outside of the kingdom. Even when Yona is ecstatic about righting the wrongs of her father, or learning how to shoot a bow, or just trying to get the warriors together. Chris has this like straight man voice throughout the whole thing that doesn't get spazzed out about anything. Like even when he's been shot with a poisoned arrow, he doesn't get super spazzed out. The only time that he breaks his straight man voice is when he turns into creeper mode, which is the only thing I object to, because it's not even like he's flirting with her. He's actually like he's proud of creeping her out with his sexual advances, and I think that's a bit off from what the show was supposed to be going for. It's not so lighthearted when you've got this decidedly older guy who's making creepy references about paying her back with her body, or you don't have enough money, what do you have kind of voice, or the very last episode where he's contemplating about how cool it'd be to be the dark black dragon of the group. It's just But outside of that little bits there, Chris is a really good fit for this lightning beast of a character who's got a good toughness to him, and you don't want to mess with him. So 2 stellar voice performances to round out the cast.
No, I'm gonna go next. So I'm gonna start with Yona and Monica's performance. I'm gonna agree with Noah a lot on the points that he said, because the key part with Yona's character, she's the character that has the biggest through line in terms of development, because at the start she is this bratty, spoiled princess who the only thing she fucking cares about is how her red hair is just a pain in the ass to deal with, and she hates it. But as time goes on, and the more unsheltered she becomes, and the more she sees the kingdom, and the more she sees these people suffering, and she wants to help these people, she wants to grow stronger and survive, you start to see a huge change in a huge shift in the character. It kind of works gradually, and I think Monica does very well with that progression from the spoiled rich girl to this not tough as nails hardened woman, but this woman who wants to do something for her people. And it's a very interesting character through line and complexity that she has to work with, and I that's probably why I love the character so much, because of Yona's personality and that through line, and then her need and desire to learn all she can about this world that she never even knew about before. Like, she's become more grateful for the things she has. She learns a lot on this journey, and I love Monica's performance of that. Oh god. I'm gonna try and be as nice as humanly possible.
Oh no.
Oh, thank God, I'm not the only one who's alone in this.
Don't pick on the pork, Sabat. Come on.
I'm gonna be as nice as humanly possible on this one.
Alright.
Because I don't think it's a bad performance. I really don't. For Sabat as Sunhawk. The problem I have is the fact that Sabat is even this character at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem I have, because Sunhawk is like probably between 18 and 20 years old. The character design, while I kind of aesthetically can see it, I think it's a little too gruff in the vocal range that we're looking for here with this character, because he's still a young kid, a young guy. And Sabbath has
Like, no offense, the show goes out of its way to talk about how young Hawk is.
That's the thing. If we didn't have that in like distinct indication made in the show, you could probably get away with it.
See,
You
I didn't.
honestly probably could.
Where
like,
do they? I'm sorry, but when do they point out?
It's fairly early on.
They bring it up a lot that he rose to his rank at such a young age.
I get that, but I never caught that he was 18. I must have missed that part.
Look, this is how I'm gonna go with it. He's clearly older than both Yona and Suwon based off his character design, but he's also younger than Chris Bevins' character, who is implied to be at least an adult when he hits on a 13-year-old Yona. He's maybe 2 to 3 years older than Yona is.
So have you never?
Yeah, because the three of them did grow up together.
They don't say his age in the manga from what we understand or the anime.
But the three of them, considering they do, like, Yona, Hawk, and Suwon, they grow up together, it's safe to say that Suwon and Hawk are at least closer in age range than Yona is to them.
And that bugged you, it sounds like.
It didn't really... I didn't think it meshed too well. Like, this isn't saying that Chris Sabat's performance is downright horrendous and I hate it. I'm perfectly fine with it. I think it's a serviceable performance. It's just the fact that because of Sabat's vocal range, voicing a younger character like this, it doesn't quite sit well with me. And what makes this worse is the fact that there is a teenage version of Son Hawk.
You are taking my point!
What makes it worse is because Son Hawk has 3 different voices. There's baby voice, Brina Palencia, there's present day Chris Sabat, and then you have teenage Son Hawk, which is Zach Bolton. And if it was I liked Zach Bolton's version of the character, and it's like, this would line up better for present day too. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'm not saying the performance is bad. I think Sabat does a great job of what he's given. It's just the character.
It sounds like you're saying you would have cast someone who had a higher pitch voice?
Not higher pitch. I would probably say less gruff.
Okay.
Less gruff. I think Sabat is a little too gruff for the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
again, I applaud the fact that Sabat was able to do rather well with the character. Again, casual viewer of the show, I think it's a fun performance. I love it. He has these moments where he's snarky and like a little bit of a dickbag. I appreciate it. Critical brain though is like, it's a serviceable performance itself, but it doesn't line up with the actual character design and the age range of the character itself. That's the concern I have. And again, what makes it worse is the fact that we have a teenage version. That's what makes it worse and come off worse than what it should be. But otherwise than that, I honestly did enjoy the performance that Sabat gave, despite that being an issue. It's just my critical brain. If we didn't have the teenage version, we wouldn't have that problem. If we didn't have a different voice for the teenage version, we wouldn't be seeing this issue.
Stole my point.
Like, you and I are on the same wavelength right now, but we know it's true. Like, I do like the performance. It's a good performance. I like it. It's just, considering the character design and the age range, that's the main takeaway for me, and that's the point that I have to really be critical on this one. But that's just my take on it. Otherwise than that specific piece, like, both Monica and Chris, I think they did great jobs with these performances. I really do. It's just the one critical point, and unfortunately it turns Sabat's performance into a bit of a hindrance rather than something extraordinary. You know what I mean?
I can't fault you for that.
Yeah. That's the one contingency on it. Gigi, your thoughts on these performances?
I'm in the complete opposite camp of you guys. Sorry.
Wait.
As somebody who is here for the trash, not Noah. As somebody who is here for the trash.
Okay.
As somebody who is here.
Complete mindset. Different mindset.
To watch and listen to some kind of romance somewhere And since Hawk gets all the good romance scenes and he gets all the sexy things, he gets the hottest kabedan in the universe. He gets a thing where he licks honey off her goddamn arm. He even kisses her forehead at one point that made me die on the inside.
It's like, kiss her, you motherfucker. Actually kiss her.
He
He
gets all the
Hawk,
best dojin too.
God damn.
He does.
Just saying.
Because he's Hawk. Hawk gets the good dojin. He needs to be a sexy alpha character. He needs to be that pro tag. And with Chris Sabat's voice there, that is what we get, and that is what I want, and that is what I like. It's way sexier than I thought it would be.
Again, I'm perfectly fine with it. It's just unfortunately
doesn't fit
It's
with
just-
the.
I did actually go back and I saw the part where he was Teenage Hawk. If Teenage Hawk were Hawk now, none of it would play. I would not buy it at all. I would be like, I would like, he needs to get some testosterone down.
To Zach Bolton's credit, I would be very curious to know how it sounded like, though, if he actually played adult Hawk. Just saying.
I want Hawk to be kind of a dick in his like aggressive aggro moments, and then I want him to lick honey off my arm. And god damn it, if Chris Sabat's voice wasn't the honey that got licked off my arm, I don't even know what to tell you. This is my shoujo fantasy. Like, this is our coherent alpha male protagonist, as opposed to the other guy who is in the sports festival. This is, for all intents and purposes, if you're doing this like trash, what he should sound like.
Honestly, I will agree with you on all of that. Like, if that's the intention, it works.
Like, if this was the photo that I was using to choose the boy who I was calling on the phone sex hotline, that is what I would want him to sound like.
There we go.
If this is the stripper I'm ordering for the bachelorette party, this is where it's gotta go.
God.
If he shows up and he has high Zach Bolton voice, I'm kicking him out the door without his dollar bills.
Oh my god, that's mean to Zach Bolton.
I don't know who Zach Bolton is. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're a wonderful person, but you're not
invited.
adult Hawk.
You're not invited to the bachelorette party.
You're not invited to the bachelorette party.
Gigi, God bless you and your estrogen.
I'm just saying, that's what I want, and that's what I got, and I'm very happy with it.
Okay.
As for Yona, y'all know I usually don't have a lot of great things to say because Monica Rial, with her very high-pitched voice, does something to my eardrums. But, however, the first few episodes where she had her regular little girl voice, as I like to call it, it was there, but it was there for a purpose. I loved how it morphed into the big girl voice as Yona changed and as she grew up and as she knew like her purpose in life and is trying to decide how she's going to morph from being this little girl with the long red hair to this woman who's going to have to fight to save the fucking day, who may or may not have to make a choice between dragons and Hawk and whoever else. Like, I loved that progression, and I think Monica Rial's the only voice actress who could have done that progression justice. And I really liked it. The other part I really liked is in the last few episodes when she was trapped under Suwon's cloak and when she was laying her head on fucking Hawk's shoulder, there are these little whimpering noises that she made that really helped sell the romance.
I didn't really catch that. Okay.
There are little tiny noises that Yona makes.
Oh god, her like big ass cry when she sees Suwon again was so good.
Yes.
So good. I was like, it was a gut punch.
Those were really good. So if you're coming at this at the trash perspective, which is what I wanted this show to be and what it could sort of morph into, that's what I want out of my characters and out of my voices. Like, I couldn't have, even if it were Ian Sinclair, could not have seen Ian Sinclair as Hawk.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I couldn't even
That's
see.
not the
Again,
vibrato.
it's like,
Yeah, no.
it's basically kind of like what I was saying before. Casual viewer me, I'm like, this Sabbath works. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It's critical version of me though is like, there's a slight issue. You know what I mean?
Well,
boy,
critical trash version of me says perfect.
See, trash version of you. There's
even
your key
if this
right
were
there.
David Wald, who is very similar in tone to this, David Wald, dripping with sex as he is, could not have pulled this off the way that Chris Sabat did.
I am in complete disagreement.
That's fine.
How do we
You
always
can.
do that? It's always Gigi and me,
All
and
right,
then Lilac
all
and
right.
Megan.
All right, Megan,
All right.
what do we got?
All right, let's get Yona out of the way because, like I said when I was talking about Yuna, like in the order of the last four characters, who I do, Suwon would be number 1, Yuna would be number 3. Yona would be my number 2, because when I was coming into this, I actually thought I wasn't going, because I remember when I watched the dub originally, back when the simuldub came out, I remember just immediately switching back to the sub after a week or two. Mostly because I was like, I wonder what the fuck happens. I was like, no, this is way too good to just like.
Again, weird starting place for the dub, but anyway.
Weird starting place. Because I was like, hell, I'm already like 12 episodes into the show. Fuck it, I'm gonna keep going. No, I think I agree completely in that. I think the other reason was, I think I had asked Monica at a con, like, why, like, how was it playing Yona? And I don't remember 100%, but I think the other aspect that she really brought to Yona was that she also got to write Yona. So she knows Yona better than everybody. And I think that being the writer of the show helped her performance a lot, because I think that she got to know a lot of the emotional intricacies of Yona. And I like that you hear her as kind of like big girl Monica as the narrator. Yes. And it's something that I also like about another character who Noah will understand if I say the words Maiden Abyss narrator. Why I enjoy that performance a lot. But I do agree that Monica starts off really high-pitched at the beginning, but that's because Yona's a spoiled little squirrel brat. Who probably couldn't tell you the difference between a cantaloupe and a watermelon. She sounds like a dumb, spoiled little Roddy, like, she literally doesn't even know how to get up on a horse. Like, come on, guys.
True facts.
And I think that she, the one aspect I really enjoy about her Yona is the Yona that goes through the trauma and the nightmares that she plays. Because Yona's got some straight up PTSD, guys. Like, those episodes where she's going through the woods with Hawk and she's just, like, comatose.
Yep. Those
like,
early episodes.
And she's got the leeches on her. It's really good. And it's, which is why I like when she shows up at the Wind Village, and she says her goodbyes to Mccallum really gets me, and I just really enjoy and I didn't expect myself to just, when I sat and I watched the dub in full again after a couple of years, be like, you know what, yeah, no, I really do like Monica as Yona. That being said, kid gloves off. Boy howdy, I agree with Steph. Chris, if I was a casual viewer, I would have no issues with Christopher Sabat as Hawk. Being someone who hears a lot of Chris Sabat roles and has for a majority of her anime watching life, I could not for the life of me shake that Hawk sounded like Small Might. And Small Might / All Might is in his 40s! Hawk sounded 10 years too old for me. And that bothers me. Because Hawk isn't that old, and Hawk is supposed to sound young and attractive. And, you know what, here's the thing. I also agree with Steph that given the chance, I think Zach Bolton could have done it. Because I have heard Zach Bolton do deeper voices. Granted, Gigi does bring up a point that Zach Bolton may not be sexy enough. I will agree, because I think the Zach Bolton performance I immediately lash onto is Clavis from Death Parade, and he kind of a twink.
I mean, to Zach Bolton's credit, because we haven't heard him try like a sexy performance before, I would welcome the chance.
Zach Bolton doesn't really do a lot of acting lately.
No, like I would welcome the chance for Zach Bolton to give it a shot.
Which is weird, because he's in Morose Mononoke now, as I say this.
Great.
But you know who was around Funimation at this point in time and can kind of do a sexy voice? And I think Gigi very openly splooged about him last year. And guess what? He can do a kind of younger guy sexy voice. I've watched Fairy Tail. Hi, Chris Wakehamp is a human being that exists.
Ooh, okay.
I couldn't.
Master.
Not here.
I could, because I've listened to him in other shows where he can do it.
Because Laughing Under the Clouds precede this one. It's true.
And Tenka is about the same age as Hawk, but he's less doofy. And Hawk is less doofy than Tenka. And you know who else is really good? And here's the thing. You know who else is really good in that show? Dave Trosko's kind of more on the twink scale in Clouds, but
But I mean,
you
to Dave
cannot put
Trosko's
Hawk on the
credit,
twink scale.
To Dave Trosko's credit, he has played like the mature sounding characters before, though.
So look, I'm not saying that Chris Sabat's performance is god-awful, scum of
Right.
the earth, needs to be burned and cut from the ground. Look, and I can understand that when he needs to turn on the sex appeal, he
Yes.
has it. He has it in some of the dramatic moments. This is not a technically bad performance, or a technically casual viewer performance, or a trash performance that is bad. Look, it's there. There have been way more egregiously badly cast people in sexy roles. Like, trust me, you could do a lot
We've actually
worse.
covered some of them on past Valentine's
Some of the
episodes.
worst
Yes.
episodes. I mean, God, the cast of Amnesia exists.
Ah!
We take no...
Blake Shepard, she's not talking about you, Blake.
Not
No.
you, Blake. You're fine. Blake, you get the pass. It's just another thing of, like I said at the beginning of the episode, just directional choices that just... It's that double-edged sword of casting. I think Sabat's actually kind of an out-of-the-box casting for Hawk. I really don't think I would have ever expected Sabat to be
I think at
Son
that
Hawk.
time too, it was one of those instances where you don't really hear this kind of character for Sabat at all.
For Sabat at all. Like, it's like, look, I understand, and I understand that a lot of people really do like it. And like I said, it's not gonna like, it's not like a, this is so awful, I need to switch back to the subtitle.
No, we're...
version.
No,
mean,
it's not.
The fact that it is so outside of what you would expect for the not just the age range, but also the type of show this is, because this is not, even though there's appeal for us, more testosterone-based people, I get the feeling that this was originally intended for more of a female audience. I'm sorry if that...
No shit,
shit.
Sherlock.
Not exactly, it's a little subtle, so maybe I could be wrong, but... Okay, so...
Just, look, I can completely understand liking him, but I agree a lot more with Steph, where I feel like there were other actors. I don't think any of the people who were any of the dragons would have fit, but I do just find it very, very interesting that they went with Sabat, and they had Sabat do this performance. Again, I don't think it's bad. It's just...
That's actually that brings up a good
it's a
point
little-
that one of the reasons I like Sabat is because he does contrast the Dragons All very well, because the Dragons All have
Yeah.
tenor voices.
Yeah, that is a good thing, that you do need an actor that's more down in the baritone as
It makes
opposed to tenor.
it does make
But you
for a
can
good
get-
dynamic. It's true.
Exactly. And then you contrast that with Yoon, who's even higher than all the dragons.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But here's the thing, though. You can also achieve that factor without making the character sound older than he is.
Again, I'm so used to characters... Okay, you have all of these actors who are all over the range in terms of their ages, portraying characters who are all over.
Yeah, and I understand that, but a lot of them can also, when they need to, they can turn it down. I just didn't think that Chris did in this case. It's not that Chris
Yeah.
can't. It's just I don't feel as a critic that he has done it. And just to be fair, because people are going to be like, oh, well, you like certain other characters too. Look, just to be fair, and we brought his name up before. Look, I love the shit out of Kuroko no Basket, but there is no way in hell that Junichi Tsuwabe sounds like a fucking high schooler. Look, if I absolutely hated it, I would have said the words "fuck this
Yes.
Right.
performance."
It's one
Like,
of those
look,
it's one of those
it's-
situations.
It's not a hate thing, but it's also one of those like, hey, this isn't a performance in
Right.
the show I find particularly higher than the rest of the
Yes,
other performances
that's
of the
exactly
show.
it.
If you are a casual viewer with absolutely zero attachment to
You're gonna
attachment
love
to
the
Yona
fucking
of the Dawn,
performance.
you're gonna love the shit out of it.
And I mean, there are moments. For
And
me, I know there are moments where
and
I
I
loved it.
honestly, yeah, there are moments in the performance that I loved, like Steph. And look, this is not me saying like, fuck you, Chris Sabat, you're an
No,
awful actor,
no,
get
no,
the
no,
hell
no,
out of the
no.
game. No, I immensely respect Chris Sabat. I think Chris Sabat is one of the best voice actors in the game. I fucking love the shit out of the man. I think the man's brilliant. It's just, every so often, you get a performance from an actor that you're just like, I'm not feeling it.
But at the end of the day, like, given the kind of show this is, given the kind of character that Hawk is supposed to be, I think Sabat is perfectly fine. It's a very serviceable performance. It's just on the critical spectrum of it, it just doesn't quite mesh well with the character's age range and the character type to an extent.
I think we've been at this argument.
We've been at this argument for a while.
too long.
Bottom line, clearly we all love Yona, and we're pretty split on Sabat as Hawk for sure. Though again, critical brain versus casual brain, two different conversations entirely. But on that note, I think we really need to wrap this up. We've been at this forever.
All right, final thoughts. I'll start
Oh,
my
actually,
right.
sorry, we can't finish
Um,
this. Oh, we're gonna have to do this in a second season. Sorry, guys. Tune in next time for second season of Dub Talk Covers Yona of the Dawn.
Now with more
Savage.
Now with more Geno.
Anyway,
Geno.
Megan, your quick final thoughts.
Sure. I'll be really quick with this. I think this is a good dub. I think this is a dub that is, at points, great, but also very baffling. If you are super attached to the sub of this show, I could see you being a person that can take or leave this. I do think the dub makes it very enjoyable to watch. I am still really baffled by certain direction choices. This is just one of those things. I would love to have a more in-depth process of why they chose to do this show starting at episode, I think they started, 12
Probably
or 13?
13 if I had to guess.
Okay. Why they started it, like, not with the seasonal core break, but, like, in just the middle of the show. I think that if I have to critique one thing in the general simuldub process, this is literally, bar none, one of the stupidest decisions they ever made as a simuldub. I'm not gonna lie. This could have been saved for home video. I love Yona to death. I love Yona dearly. This was not something that should have been a simuldub.
Or if it was, they should have started from the beginning.
Beginning. You should start it from the fucking beginning. Like, I don't think anyone would have given a shit that you started at episode 1 and not episode 12. Honestly, like, what the fuck? It is a detriment not only to it was honestly a detriment to people watching the dub, because guess what? People who are dub-only watchers, starting from episode 12 isn't even good for them. You're expecting them to go halfway into a story that is incredibly character-driven. The fuck, y'all? That being said, if you're watching it from the home video perspective, this dub is completely fine. I would actually encourage you to watch the show subbed or dubbed, because I think it is one of the best shoujo shows that has come out, and one of the best products that Perot has put out, period, as a studio. That being said, that's my final thoughts.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go ahead on this one.
All right, no, your final thoughts, please.
So, I'm a guy.
No shit.
No shit.
Are you sure?
I think. I could be wrong, but I think.
Are you gonna have to check?
I might have to check, but in the meantime. So, coming at this from the hetero male perspective on this was the kind of show that I expected more of a romance out of this. And it's not really that. It's let's have a girl be the lead character, a strong independent woman with a lot of hot guys around her for everyone to latch on to. You'll get a different person on this. So adapting that into a dub, there's a lot more leeway in terms of how serious the acting has to be, or how up to snuff it has to be like, we're not allowed some silliness in this. And there is some silliness in this. Like, this really, in watching it, didn't really remind me of a 2010s kind of show. It reminded me more of like a 60s anime comedy, like the kind of stuff from the Speed Racer days or the Rumiko Takahashi kind of shows. Like, I haven't seen all of Urusei Yatsura, but it kind of reminded me of the comedy of that, with murder thrown in there for good measure. So
why not?
Actually, adapting this in here, this was very accessible. Coming at this from a male perspective, this was an extremely accessible kind of show. Very easy to marathon, no filler in there, so we're not waiting for stuff to happen. There's always one's character being developed. The characters interact off each other very well, which is one thing I didn't really get to point out. But even though every actor is performing in a booth by themselves with no one person to go up against, all of their interactions sounded really good when they're heated up against each other. You've got...
Oh yeah, no, the show has an amazing ensemble.
I'm speaking of this as just an ensemble. The bit parts, we can kind of give and take on whether or not they're well cast or whether the voices are what they should have been. But as an ensemble, they work together really well. And it's the kind of adventure that you would like to join into. Like, you want to watch these freedom fighters go out and do their thing while also just having fun with each other. And that's why I know a lot of people are pissed off that there was not a second season of it, because there's obviously a lot more material there and a lot of demand for that. So, even though it's supposed to be a Valentine's episode where Noah gets thrown to the dungeon and is tortured with content that he's not enjoying because there's like 12 brothers that want to bang their sister, this is not that bad. Like, Gigi says this is shoujo trash. I don't think this is trash. I think this is high quality smut, because we're all here for the hot guys, but we're having fun at the same time. This is top tier. This is top tier booze smut, and that is just like... that is my aesthetic.
Top shelf.
Okay. Gigi, your final thoughts on Yona of the Dawn's dub, please.
Boy, I sure loved Fushigi Yugi 2015.
God damn it.
Like I said, you can love or hate this show. I'm kind of in the middle with it. It's not trashy enough for me, and I wanted to like it more than I did. The dub, though, I really kind of enjoyed, and It's what I would have expected. Ooh, I just hit Bond 110 with Ren.
Nice.
It's what I would have expected for a shoujo reverse harem romance dub, which what is to say it has a little bit of campiness in it, has a lot of varied characters and character voices, and you have to have them be distinct enough to tell them apart if you're not actually looking at the TV, which they seem to do pretty well. Dub-wise, very, very passable. Anime-wise, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I didn't hate it. I actually kind of really liked it, and I would rather watch it dubbed than subtitled. So that's good to say for me. Wish this dub would have happened 20 years ago with Fushigi Yugi. Yona the Dawn needs more magic.
Oh my god.
Seriously, if you fucking love Fushigi Yugi, it is the exact same show minus the magic book. Switch China for Korea and leave a lot of the rapey stuff out.
Oh god. All right. I guess that leaves me. So the show itself, the series itself, I'm gonna say, this franchise, Yona the Dawn, I really, really love it. From a perspective of, I love the anime series and I really love the manga and have been reading the manga. I need to catch up a bit though, but I love this little series called Yona the Dawn to pieces. It's probably one of my favorite shoujo romances stories that I've read or seen in a long time. That being said, obviously disappointment comes in that there's no second season. Obvious is obvious, but in terms of the dub, it is an early broadcast dub. It is a little rough around the edges. However, I have to give credit to some of the fun casting that happens, some of the fun and amazing performances that do occur. But but again, casual me is like, absolutely, this is an amazing dub. You'll love it. Critical me, there are flaws with this. And it does hold it back from a critical standpoint from being an amazing series, but if you're just watching it casually, you're gonna love every aspect of it regardless. Like, yeah. From the casual standpoint, I love this dub. It's so much fun. Like, I love Babby Yoon. I don't fucking care what anyone says. Cliff is Yoon in my heart, and it's adorable as shit. But again,
we get it. Megan was being a bitch this episode.
No. You have solid points, and I mean, again, I sided with you quite a bit on those too. Like, I love
Please don't hate me, Clifford.
Casual me. Baby Yoon is amazing. Hawk is fantastic. Critical me, it's like, I don't know. There are aspects that where my brain critically is like, I don't know how to feel about this. It seems like there are flaws. This dub has flaws. The production of the dub itself, I'm gonna agree with Megan. This should never have been a broadcast dub. And if it was, it never should have started smack dab in the middle of it. Not even the slightest. Like, you either should have started from the beginning or saved for home video release. Obviously, that is not in the control of the actual production, the directors, or anything like that. That is not under their control, so we can't fault them for that.
Yeah, no. Me saying that is not a shot at Colleen or Clifford. That is not a shot at them. No, that is a shot straight at Funimation.
Like that, like something like that. That's not in their control. It comes from higher up above them. Like, it's not their fault.
No, this is aimed at the people above him that and probably potentially Perot, who thought this was a good fucking idea.
Like, potentially. We don't know how far up that goes.
And honestly, to be fair, I feel the same way about Tokyo Glory. Shouldn't have been a simuldub. No offense, shouldn't have been a fucking simuldub.
But at the end of the day, if you are a casual anime fan, you're gonna love this. I love this show, and I do love the dub. Like, wholeheartedly, I do. It is so much fun, even with me being critical of certain aspects of it.
What I'm getting out of this is that the fact that both you and with Lilac and Megan are much more fans of the franchise and are reading the manga to it, makes you more critical of this production here. Whereas Gigi and myself, who are just more casual viewers of this entire franchise and aren't reading the manga, enjoy it for what it is as a standalone anime. So that seems to be dividing our opinions of some of the performances a little bit here.
That actually probably has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Yeah.
And that's
granted. I'm also a huge big fan of the Ancient Magus Bride anime. manga and franchise, and I thought
I mean, even then, as even if I had
another show where something bad happens to a redheaded anime character.
God damn it! No, I mean, like even if I didn't even read the manga for Yona, I would still be critical about some of the stuff from the anime and the dub itself. I would still be critical, in all honesty. But at the end of the day, I do enjoy the dub. I love it to pieces. I just, for the sake of criticism and critical points, they have to be made, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But honestly, you should go watch the show. I love the show. I love this. Please watch this show. Like, it's so much fun. And if you are interested in seeing Yona of the Dawn for yourself, there are a couple ways to view this show. Primarily, you can watch the show over on Funimation Now, where they do have the English and the Japanese versions. I am shedding right now. On their streaming service. They do have a 14-day free trial, which, as your usual reminder, because they do ask for credit card information, if you do not wish to keep the service, you will have to cancel the subscription or they will take money from your account. The other way to watch the series is through home video. As of right now, the recording of this episode, Yona of the Dawn is split into 2 sets, set 1 and 2. However, there is a complete version coming to be soon to be released in the future.
I think it's out already. We can just put it in the comments, but
if
yeah, and you can also watch the sub on Crunchyroll.
Oh, it's still up there. Okay.
Yes, because I think like I said at the beginning, they co-licensed the streaming.
Yes. Anyway, but that's how you can go and watch the show. Please watch the show. It's a good show. I love it. If you're interested in anything that us 4 idiots do,
the answer is yes. The complete version is out.
Okay, so it is out. Okay, perfect.
Where all of it's all on one set. Yes,
okay.
It's all on one. It's
good to know.
Out.
But yeah, if you're interested in anything that the 4 of us idiots tend to do, you can follow all of us on our various social medias, Twitters, and stuff like that. I'm at Lilac Anime Review with Reviewing Spot REVUE. Noah is at Noah Clue. Megan is at Queen Era 2, and Gigi is at Anime Palooza. Gigi and Noah also have their own YouTube channels. Gigi is Anime Palooza, Noah is Journey Traveler, where they do a variety of different things. I have my blog, lifeandtimesotaku.wordpress.com, where I haven't updated in a while and I'm horrible at it. And Megan is
Megan.
I just hang out on
Megan is Megan, and we love her for it. If you want to follow anything that the Dub Talk podcast does in general, the primary way to do so is you're already here on YouTube. Please subscribe to us here and listen to our weekly shenanigans, or sometimes bi-weekly. Not bi-weekly. Sometimes twice a week shenanigans. You never know what goes on around here. We get into some crazy bullshit. I'm trying to enunciate, but it's also like midnight, and I want to go to bed.
New York, unique.
We also are on other various social media. We are on Twitter, Tumblr, Twitch, and Instagram, all at Dub Talk Podcast. And with that, I believe our annual Valentine's Day episode is over.
I kept my Udapri tier. 4% my Spanish run.
Yay!
This is the most serious.
On other good news.
You know what? I'll say it right now. This is the most serious episode for Valentine's that we ever did, and I appreciate it. And Gigi, for your sake, for surviving this seriousness, I'll fucking watch Peach Girl.
Oh, that's
means
love
Peach
right
Girl
there.
next year.
I might have found a better one.
Oh.
What?
We'll wait. It has to come out yet.
Oh, God.
Really?
Is it getting a dub?
I don't know yet. It hasn't come out yet. So we will see. If it gets a dub,
All right.
there is a better one.
All right.
Say what it is. Oh no! I think I know what you're thinking of.
That's a.
So yeah, Valentine's Day is over. I don't know what we're gonna be doing with our significant elders at this stage in the game. Like, I don't even fucking know. But
hopefully 3 out of 4 of us are probably gonna be fucking.
Wait,
and it ain't me.
Megan, we're going to talk about cuddling and saying nice things to each other and watching romantic movies.
In the words of Pro ZD, they fucking.
I'm going out the week before Valentine's Day, so
That's what it's all about.
God. I'm gonna go to bed. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day, you motherfuckers.
Go get
Thank
yourself
you
some
for
chocolate-covered strawberries.
Thank you for listening to our
the candy.
shenanigans. Thank you for listening to our shenanigans, and have a good night. Otaku on, my friends.
And
love your faces.
if you are single, just know that you got a friend in all of us, but we will not share our significant others.
Sorry, boo.
Sorry.
And remember, kids, if you want to If you want to get to a girl's heart, just dump a bunch of honey on her hand and lick like she's a Tootsie Roll Pop.
Finger licking good.
God damn.
1000% Maji love.
Good night,